Uh-oh.
Hello and welcome to the Captain's Table, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul, the Zerkro-1 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the Astropub, your space bar at the end of Twitch. This is the Captain's Table, where I bring in content creators from all over the Star Citizen universe together to talk about Star Citizen, sometimes talk about stupid shit, get drunk, and probably insult most of the living human population that exists. So,
And wait, why am I mirrored?
Why are you married?
Yes.
Are you married? You're not mirrored on. Yeah.
Hey man, that's your own fault.
You're mirrored on Zoom right now.
Right hand, left hand.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
Right finger, left finger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anywho, let's before we get started, we're gonna go around to each of the various people here, and we're gonna find out who they are, what they do for Star Citizen. We're gonna start because Papa Tovac's at the head of the table. We're gonna leave him for last because fuck Papa Tovac. We're gonna start with the bro of space, the mitt of the Tachis, Mitachi. Who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen? How you doing, by the way?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Paul?
I'm drinking, so that's always.
You're drinking? Then we're all good here. Everyone is fine. No, I am Mitachi. You can find me at twitch.tv/Mitachi. Don't know how to spell it down there. Anyway, so what I do for Star Citizen is I just love the game. We go out play it. We play a lot of Star Marine, even though it's going to change dramatically here in the next few weeks with some of the changes we'll see in 3.0. We also go out and we blow shit up in space all the time. We find out how we can escape different vehicles while crashing them into Korea all the time. And it's really fun. And I look forward to many more things to crash into many more objects like moons very shortly. So
I approve of your decision of crashing shit. That's very tested.
Well, you're in test, so
yeah.
I figured you would. I mean, I don't know.
It's very test of you.
Yeah, very tested.
Have you considered coming to the
brothers.
light?
One of the two. We have beer.
Come to us.
Texas Skulls. Who are you?
Makes
What do you
up
do in Star
affiliates.
Citizen?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually a very dedicated tester of Star Citizen. A long time ago, CIG actually reached out personally to me, their lead QA, and asked, "Can you test death mechanics?" So it's kind of my mission to go out there and die over and over and over again.
It's like
that explode. But it's not because of a lack of skill. I'm doing it on purpose.
Yeah. It's a million ways to die in Star Citizen.
Totally.
He's
Yes.
Sure.
For testing reasons,
testing,
guys.
testing,
I die a lot.
Testing. He also tests being unable to shoot the broadside of a barn with that Air Force suppressive fire, as Jeremy likes
Air
to
Force
say.
suppressive fire, absolutely. So yeah, I'm a Star Citizen streamer. That's where I got my start, and we mix it up on the channel, but always return back to good old Star Citizen, especially with 3.0 on the horizon. And you can find me at twitch.tv/Texas Skulls or Twitter at Texas_Skulls.
Texas Skulls everywhere. Just look. Texas
Your friendly
Skulls.
neighborhood derp.
Let's get that pod follow out there again. Next, we have the creator and beholder of the Testahol, the man from Europe, from the ages past, the Excalibur
From the old country. Yeah.
from the old country. Yeah. The man who brings the myths of what is possible in the game to life. The fabled. I don't know. I'm just going off of bullshit right now.
Texas, we should have paid Paul more for this guy.
I know, right? Darge, what did you
give him
pay
enough
Paul
money.
before the show?
He gave me Testahol. That's how this works.
No wonder.
Okay.
All right. Who are you, Darge? What do you do in Star
After
Citizen?
that.
I am Darionator, also known as Darge by a lot of people. And unfortunately, unlike all the other people on this podcast, I am not actually a Star Citizen streamer, although I annoy several Star Citizen streamers, particularly Meyer. I do have a podcast, yes. Well, it's hosted on not on my own channel. It's a work in progress. It's it's going with the flow, I suppose. Yes, I host a podcast called Fortnightly Frontier, and we go out every fortnight, as the name says, and we just
For
talk
you
about.
Americans, that means every 2 weeks.
I was confused
Sorry,
for a moment there.
Thank you for the translation.
Right, yeah,
Fortnite,
because bi-weekly means either every 2 weeks or twice a week, and we don't like that word, do we?
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
It also is fancier to say Fortnite.
Yes, indeed. Yes, and we're all about the fancy. We are fancy men.
And was it the alliteration, Fortnightly Frontier, FF? You know.
Yes. Yes, because we are poetic. No. Yes, the podcast every 2 weeks. We talk about Star Citizen, not really news, but more kind of like opinion-related stuff. We're trying to go away from news-related stuff because everybody does news these days. So just trying to do something new. But other than that, you can find me modding and annoying Meyer_test, who is another frequent member of this podcast.
Who's your
The
last week?
Astropub.
Yeah.
He was here last week, yes, indeed. I caught a bit of that, and it was, well, let's just say, different.
It was a captain's table. That's pretty much what you got to say. Is it was a captain's
Yeah.
table.
Right?
Why
Yeah.
is this weird thing like this clap on their podcast? I'm not even sure. Like, should we
Yeah.
be clapping right now?
Yes. We
No,
sync
because-
up. Sync up. Sync up. Yeah.
Just I'm confused. Just sync. There we go. Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Yes.
I will snap
Yeah.
in defiance of your clap.
It's blowing my mind because I'm hearing it in 5 different places. It's like, what has happened? Texas is
What is
throwing
happening?
my audio everywhere.
All right.
It's okay.
So next we have one of the ambassadors of Star Citizen and a podcast addict himself, Mr. Clifford, aka Miku, he's actually the only he's a streamer, but he's the only non-Twitch streamer on this podcast. So he's probably one of the few non-Twitch streamers we have that in Star Citizen. So, hello.
No one heard what you just said.
Yeah.
I was wondering, was that just me?
Everyone roboted there for a second. So
Yeah,
I
everybody.
was
No,
about
it
to
was
stand
just
up and
you.
just bust into full robot. You know?
Yeah.
robot mode.
I was say nothing. Keep it quiet because I didn't want to sound like a robot myself.
Okay,
No,
so
Paul, it was just you.
all
It
right.
was just
So let me
you.
do this. So Clifford, let me say this again. Clifford is a streamer, but he's the only non-Twitch streamer that we have on this cast right now.
He likes to mix it up.
Yes, he likes to mix it up.
Yes.
Go ahead,
Well,
Clifford. Who are you?
Choice
What do
of
you do?
words there,
Okay.
Dargenator.
Well, I was on Twitch for the longest time, still part of Redacted, still part of the base radio, but I wanted to try a new platform that was called Beam. Now they're called Mixer because Microsoft wanted to go globally with it, and they couldn't with the original branding that it was.
I wanted to mix it up.
Yeah, so basically now I just do Star Citizen, if there's any new content, any ships that they're wanting to see. It's kind of like a really larger, newer audience because you got Xbox users and PC users, and half the time when I'm showing Star Citizen, they've never seen it before. So I know I'm doing something right because I'm actually going to a new audience that's never seen it before. And actually some of them are talking about buying computers now that Ryzen's out and it's cheaper, that now they might be coming onto our side, PC side, and playing Star Citizen. So they're real anxious to see 3.0 and what it has to tell of it, because then, like me and Paul, I mean, I'm not all about fighting. I like the trading, the exploration, science stuff, that kind of stuff. That's what I really like. Yes, mining, definitely mining.
Paul, the pacifist, for sure.
Oh yeah,
Confirmed.
no, I'm totally not going to kill people. I'm just there to serve you drinks.
I'm seeing a trend, by the way. Mixer, AMD, Twitch, Intel. I think it's like a dividing line here.
I'm not
I mean,
too
I'm
sure.
Intel for life.
They're gonna mix in between each other too. Like the thing is, like AMD and Intel will like crossbreed like crazy. They just go wherever the money is, and wherever they think they can get decent stuff. But the thing is that Mixer's headquarters is in Austin, if I believe correctly, or it used to be. Like where it was founded was in Austin, and AMD's headquarters is in Austin. So that just makes sense if you have a company right next door.
Well,
So-
actually, Beam is located in Seattle, Washington. That's their home office.
they have an office in Austin though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe so. But
Yeah.
their main office has always been Seattle,
Oh, okay.
Washington.
I thought they had
Because-
found in Austin, but yeah, okay.
But yeah, that's where Matt and all of them are at right now. At least that's where the Mixer main office is. But when they launched Mixer, they were all at the Microsoft main office there because you saw the Xbox Studio, anyways, because it's heavily doing with their integration with Xbox and gaming and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's basically what I do is just play the game, play different sci-fi games. Me and Paul sometimes do a lot of stuff together. Life is Feudal and that kind of stuff. So we kind of like everything. There's just so much out there to do. It's hard to keep up with it all.
Speaking of Life is Feudal, I can't wait. They announced a lot of cool stuff about that. I can't talk about it because it's a Star Citizen podcast, but there's some really cool announcements they made about the stuff they're going to be doing with open beta and going forward. So I'm excited about that. All right, and last and least, we have Papa Dolvac.
Hey, I'm Dolvac. I'm a spicy trash man. I'm spicy trash man on Twitch. I'm like the Danny DeVito of Star Citizen. I'm just kind of around, and you can't get rid of me unless you have deviled eggs.
It's a big trash bag behind you.
Yeah, there is actually. So if you ever wanted to watch some subpar gameplay, you could head over to twitch.tv/Papa Dolvac, and I assure you, you will find plenty of subpar gameplay. If you like low production value, I'm your guy. It's rustic, really.
It's a throwback. It's throwback.
It's craft. Twitch streamer.
He's the Etsy of
exactly
upcycled steampunk. Shelf, which is just a block of wood,
It's basically what it is. I do a whole bunch of stuff in the Star Citizen community. I recently started streaming every weekday at 5 p.m. I work on a machinima series called Bulkheads, which has been on hiatus, but is coming back. We just released our first short in over 9 months because we've been harassed enough to finally do it, which, good job, Internet. If you harass someone on the internet, you'll get your way.
Eventually.
That's what you learned from this today.
Mm-hmm.
Or a restraining order. Just
or
So I'm just saying.
Or you get arrested.
It just depends on how much of the internet bans against a single cause. If it's just one person harassing a lot, then you get a restraining order. But if it's a lot of people, then it's a petition.
Then you get your way.
It's a petition.
Yeah. That's a movement. And I run a fan site called relay.sc. We transcribe things and our things are copy pasted onto bigger gaming sites that make money.
Would you say that you relay information?
Not really. It's not that. No.
Which I have to say, Dolvac, before I did the Space Pro show last night, I was really disappointed I couldn't copy pasta the transcript from ATV over.
Okay, so
you almost ruined my show.
Everyone's asking, no, Relay is not dying because we missed it for one day. Our lead transcriptionist who organized everything is currently on vacay.
Yeah.
Because he's gotten everything done for 2 years straight at this point.
Yeah.
So
unacceptable. No
he
vacation
needs
allowed.
a vacation. So
You
it's
made me
actually
actually do work. You made me
he worked his fingers to the bone.
It's done. It's actually on site right now. It's just we needed a day to kind of catch up.
Right.
But,
he worked his typing fingers to the bone.
Yeah, he's basically just a skeleton. He's a normal human being. His hands are just little skeleton fingers.
This reminds me of Dave Chappelle show, the stenographer to go, where you just have a little stenographer on your back.
Yeah.
And it's just typing everything and just recording. Yeah. Is that what your lead transcriptionist is?
That's essentially what Canadians
And then they ran away.
There you go.
They escaped to the backpack.
Here's an awful prospect though. What if Star Citizen, apart from releasing every show, also releases scripts or subtitles, and then you just copy that?
Yeah, they do that. Guess what? We do that for them.
You do that for them. Yeah.
I was going to say, otherwise I wouldn't go Relay.
Their YouTube captions are actually done by us, and we said we reorganize our transcript after we're done with it and send it off to them, and they put it on ATV when we're done with it.
Wow.
Yeah, because for a long time we didn't do word for word transcripts, because guess what? That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So now we actually do the word for word transcripts as well as a short summary at the top for people who don't want to read 28,000 words. And then we can give it to them, and they can actually throw the word for word as.
Do you actually use any speech to text?
No,
or
so
just
there's
listening
so many,
and typing?
There's so many custom words that don't make sense in Star Citizen,
Yeah.
it would actually take longer to go through it and like correct that it doesn't know when Idris is. You know,
If they use speech to text, it'd
Especially
say
when they say
fidelity,
Idris.
gibberish. Fidelity,
Yeah.
gibberish.
Pretty
Version.
much. That's exactly.
If you want to see the
tried to
results of
fuck with
speech to text, go watch Source's show. Anytime when he's got the closed caption up, it says nothing that he's actually
Oh
saying
God, yeah.
below
Hey
it.
Dolvac, I heard a rumor. I just kind of wanted to address this on on air and in a very public setting.
Oh Jesus.
I heard
Very
that CIG
appropriate
was
area.
using backer funds and paying 100
Yes.
TV transcript.
Okay. It's true. 100% true.
Good.
Just please.
Okay.
Please direct
wondered-
all
just-
your hate mail to Paul Shelley.
Me.
He is our new intern.
Yeah.
So he just
Yeah, that's
sit
why he
there.
dresses so nicely, because the interns are all,
Yeah.
have to present themselves, but the veterans just come
So
in
at
a
this
t-shirt
point,
and pants.
at this point, I've been called a member of INN, a member of Citizen Star News, a member of Relay, and a shill for Star Citizen, a paid shill for Star Citizen.
And
Guys, Paul,
right now,
Paul-
I'm naming you a honorary member of Fortnite Frontier.
Okay.
Well, like if you think that's bad, GameSpot has repeatedly quoted me as a CIG employee when I have never said
CIG
anything of the
employee
sort.
Dolvac, David.
The
David.
CIG employee speaks out on
Yeah.
site. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like,
Papadolvac _CIG on Twitch.
Guys, if you want to get in touch with Paul Shelley, by the way, just shoot him an email at support@paulshelmet.com.
Yeah,
That is his email
www.
regularly.
Yeah, you can find it at the www.paulshelmet.com. It's a perfect website to go
Please send
to.
all your complaints to support@twitch.tv, and please remind them that he's a partner. And
He's a partner,
They
yeah.
they probably got that idea, Dolvac, from all the times that Paul's come on this show and said, we're absolutely CIG employees. And
He's
they're like,
never said
"Oh,
that.
it's
What are you
facts,
talking
we got
about?
it.
Yeah.
You got it.
I also
Never heard him say
said that
that
there are
before.
people who ask stupid questions, and I'm a teacher, so that's another thing. Anyways, for those of you guys who have never seen this before, how the Captain's Table works is we just kind of talk about whatever the recent news in Star Citizen is. We may go off on tangents, talk about Banu Seaman for a bit. We might talk about Mitachi's desire to open up a Xi'an-only strip club in the universe, or Texas Skulls'
Would work. I'm telling you. It would.
Texas Skulls' desire to be the first man to chart the entire galaxy butt naked. These are all things that we could
Poser
talk
for the
about,
week.
or we could talk
What
about
about my sandwich shop?
we could talk about the hints, or your sandwich shop. You and Myers, sandwich shop in what is it? In Vandal Space, which totally would work, by the way.
Yeah, it's actually human meat.
Yeah.
You gotta eat. People gotta eat. Okay.
But we
Look,
may actually talk about
man
something
or
that
fish
matters.
person,
It depends what it goes.
Gotta have a hoagie. Okay.
But as I always like to start off with, there's two things that have happened this week. First off, we've had the ATV, which was, it was a Manchester ATV. So Manchester,
So good.
they at this point, all you have to say it's a Manchester ATV, and everyone understands. Oh, so they just dropped the mic at the end of the end of their presentation.
No more though than the Germany one, dude.
Yeah, no,
Like,
Frankfurt
I
and
was gonna say,
Manchester.
I don't
drops the
know.
mic.
Aaron's getting a little saucy in Manchester.
Yeah.
He even has other people drop the mic for him now. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm not even here.
What was it a
That
few
doesn't
weeks ago? He did the entire thing about ATV, about whatever they do, and then they went with the rest of the ATV. And then after the credits, he went, "Oh yeah, we also do ships."
Boom.
And then they had 10 minutes of
I
just
know.
ships.
You mean the best
I know.
ATV ever? Yeah, that was
happened
what it was. Yeah.
What we used to do a thing. We used to do a thing called at the end of the year called the INN Awards, and last year is the Relay
Drink.
Awards. But it was kind of like our year in review. It's a kind of a parody, it's like a award show for gaming, but it's not really. And all the categories are like best of blank, best of whatever. And the joke was best studio, right? And really, we would just kind of talk about they're all great, but like what's the most impressive thing? Which studio did it come out of? And it was always Frankfurt. It was Frankfurt. And this year it might be Manchester, because they've been putting out some eye candy this year.
I'm telling you.
And so what was happening last year was oh god, it's a Frankfurt ATV. We're gonna see some crazy stuff. But this year it's all right, hey guys, we did crazy procedural plan stuff. We're we know Frankfurt. You just whatever, man.
Yeah, you've been doing that
and
forever.
then it's just Manchester shows up and it's hey, so we have all these artists that we're not using because we finished all that Squadron 42 shit last year. so we could just like divert everything to like, oh yeah, we just have a whole sea for some reason now.
Yeah.
Apparently.
We're going to show you a boarding scene in a whole sea because we've got that.
Did
time.
they like there was no like white box? We never saw any of that. It's just oh yeah, here's like a 90% finish. Like
Yeah, we didn't see a white box or a gray box. We did see a gray box. We did see them like outline like the actual levels because I remember looking at it and someone saying like, "Holy fuck, that thing has like 4 decks. How the fuck does this thing have 4 decks? It doesn't seem that big." But yeah.
Well, so. I mean, like the Caterpillar, which is significantly smaller, also has like 20 fucking decks. Like that thing is like a maze, it's like a labyrinth.
I still get lost in the Starfare to this day. I don't know where I'm going. But maybe it's because I'm drunk every time I'm flying.
No,
I know exactly how to go from the pilot seat to jump out the back of it before it hits the station and explodes.
I wonder why you know about that, Matachi.
I know. But if I take a wrong turn coming out of that like escape pod room, if I bust a right, I am lost. I'm just there like, oh shit.
You know, that's what you do is you just run down the back corridors of those like side wings because you'll clip out the sides.
You just clip out the sides.
I do that, or I'll go through the last thing.
Exited a Starfare.
Yeah, when you're on the catwalk right there, I just jump up, and you can jump over the railing and then down. On the floor, and you can do it that way. That's usually the way I do it.
I've never successfully exited the Starfare in the proper way. I just phased through a wall at some point.
Well, with Item System 2.0, you might not be able to phase through walls anymore.
Yeah, that's from what they're doing.
I'll believe it when I see it.
So I agree with you.
So we saw a lot of things. What was? Let's go around and ask like specific things that you guys pulled out from this week's ATV, and it can be from that really long one-on-one interview with the Bug Smasher himself, because that's pretty much what that second part was just like let's sit there and let him talk for 30 minutes about what he's been doing.
My hands, Paul.
We've been asking for that for so long. Just put him in front of the camera and let him talk, and they gave us that. They gave us that for 2 episodes now.
Well, I think they did that because with the happy hour and stuff they did. I think having Mark there and seeing that they had to actually stop him from talking because he had so much information. They're like, shoot, next ATV, let's just put him in there because he had a whole half episode of himself and it was worth.
The man reminds me a bit of like high school where like you're listening to like a class lecture and then you just phase completely out and you're just sitting there blank faced, and then like 5 minutes later you come back, you're like, I have no idea what the fuck that guy was just saying.
You nod and you're following along, and then at the end of it you're like, I actually understood none of that fucking words. Those words were like Greek suddenly. I don't know what's going on.
You just ask, will this be on the test?
Yeah.
he would say
all
no.
All I know is that's the guy I want to do my homework for me.
So was there anything specifically that stood out for you? It can be multiple things, but
Dormammu.
Dormammu.
Or
the coil.
the pyro nebula.
The coil. That's the coil.
No, actually, I think there's 2 different things.
I think they're the same thing.
No, the coil
Could
is
be.
in Pyro? No, because it's in Squadron 42. It's in
but isn't it in the Pyro?
Yeah, but Squadron 42 is in Pyro.
Oh, is it? Then
yeah.
But
I thought the coil was in Pyro.
Well, I don't know. Actually,
if only there was
the nebula
accessible star map that we could reference.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. Nope. What is that?
I will find it.
Everyone's typing quickly.
Yeah, I've got my CPU is at 100% ping because I'm recording this and broadcasting this at 720. So I'm
there you go.
Yeah, but basically it's the new far off nebula that they're rendering using complex fluid dynamics to actually get the shapes right, which was. Yeah, and it looks so mean and sinister. Or actually, not Dormammu. The way Galactus looked in the first Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
Which was shit, but the effects were great.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like this huge, sinister nebula just devouring everything. It's like,
all you had to say was Nebula, and then I'm like, I'm with you again. I'm like, there you go.
I'm calling it right now that there's some sort of Vandal invasion fleet that's going to pop out of the middle of the coil.
Oh!
There's going to be a jump gate in the middle of that coil. I bet you that's what's going to happen.
Okay, so Pyro, it does not have the coil specifically, or at least it's not called the coil. It has a thing called the Akiro cluster, which is a rapidly spinning cluster of micro asteroids that has super rare materials in it, but it's super dangerous.
That's the coil. That's the
Next
coil.
week.
Is that the coil?
on
But it's not-
Warmaker's Guide to the
Nowhere
Galaxy.
on the star map does it say the word coil.
No, it doesn't. They reference it in the in some of the other like stuff as well. But yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, anyways, moving on. Was there anything else other than that ridiculously sweet Dormammu, the Galactus
Tons
coil?
of stuff. I mean, I got a laundry list.
Let's get the laundry list. We got time.
Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Go for it.
Well, let's say right off the bat for me.
And that's all the time that we have.
Yeah, we're all wrapped up. Time to go. No, Moby-Glass, man. Just seeing the new thing with the mission manager and the inventory and the Moby-Glass, and that was just like, holy shit!
Just like the status page of it, just like the basic
Yeah.
status page.
Yep.
Look cool.
The only thing I
freaking
want
good.
him to do is align it with the screen so it's not like at an angle. So it's actually
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just like to see some customization. Plus, considering once again we talked about this when we saw the templates they had of it before. I think when they did the big guns of the UEE, they had a model of it, just kind of like what they were going to do. But we didn't see what it looked like in different lighting. And in this instance, they show it in a very dark room. So I'm still interested in what it's going to look like on a planetary surface during the day. I mean,
It's
is it
gonna be
weird
white on
looking
white.
out?
The sun, it's
Yeah.
just like black. It'll completely white it out.
Yeah, or did they have? It'd be cool if they simulated a backdrop to it. Even I wouldn't.
Yeah.
care. I mean,
Well, just
whatever,
just
whatever, make it
something
look
black
good.
with varying opacity so you can
Mhm.
actually read it. Yeah, instead of just white on white.
Well, what I thought was really cool was like
hey,
the
stand right
apps-
here so I can hold
Yeah,
up.
I was. It reminds me of the there was that stupid like smartphone and a watch like that was like a
Yeah.
supposed to be like,
Yeah.
like a watch.
Yeah.
Plus,
that was
did you
supposed
guys
to
notice
broadcast
they
on your-
shrink it down a lot? Because I mean, the Moby-Glass usually fits your whole forearm, and on
Yeah.
this, it's like a fat watch band.
Yeah.
Actually, right now it is a watch. I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
they
a
actually
watch.
made them change
Yeah.
the model, but the very first concepts, especially the exploring one, which was like
It was
it
a
was
back
stretch
roll.
goal. Yeah, it was the entire arm, like a big
so
boy.
what
Yeah.
they did was with the watch, they just made the hologram come across like a keyboard, just like what we already have today, a laser keyboard, and you can interface there. And I was like, that's really smart.
That's actually
because
like
that's not gonna
what they
interfere
showed
with those.
was that was like where like the app selection was like
Yeah.
around the arm.
Yeah,
And it's kind of cool. So it's like they've always in the past, like years of fucking go, because they haven't talked about like Moby glasses. They haven't talked about a lot of like core design stuff in like years with like design documents. But a long fucking time ago, the concept was that you'd be able to like go get other programs and other modules for your Moby glass and kind of like slot in stuff. I mean, and I guess
I
like
think
with
that's
stuff
still
they're
the
building.
case. you
With
know.
the stuff yeah, I know they haven't talked about it, but like it would make sense with the stuff they're building for like Iron 2.0 and all the stuff. Like they built like the entire game to be like super modular and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for Moby Glass to be somewhat similar. But like the idea that like, okay, I have this, so I can have like all these different like I can I'll have a
different
few
colors,
here.
different you know.
Absolutely.
But like if you could
on the
like
bottom was
customize
the
it,
buttons, right?
if you could customize it so it's like every different app you could have like a different color on, like kind of like the Elite Dangerous interface, that'd be fucking.
Don't mention
ace.
that.
Don't mention Elite.
Wait, on the
You'll
bottom,
have everyone
was all,
piss
like,
off.
the different apps, right?
Yeah.
No, but like those buttons on the bottom were how you tab between apps, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, see that just alone is a huge design improvement, so you don't have to hit the back button every single time and go back
Yeah.
to its home
The back
screen.
button,
Like
the back button never.
easily navigable. Yeah, exactly.
You don't need a back button. Yeah.
No, you just need you need a menu, like a main menu that's always there, just a little
menu,
contextual,
and I
right?
want to
You
be able
just
to
switch
use like
between
my
those.
cell
Yeah.
phone. I want to be able to drag favorites around. And
Yeah.
These are the top 3 categories I
If-
use. 'Cause
if I'm-
maybe
if
I'm
I'm
a
a-
trader.
If I'm a
I'm
fighter
always in
pilot,
inventory.
if I'm in fighter pilot, I'm never gonna fucking use a goddamn like inventory screen really, other than for my I'd want to have my fighter, like my customization of my ship, my that the loadout screen was what I'd want. Or if I'm a
So
marine,
here's the question.
I want
Why
the,
don't-
the armor, not
What's the
training,
voice
but-
assistant? What's the name of the voice
Now,
assistant?
why
on
don't they
Moby
just
Glass?
put Android into Star Citizen?
Licensing, probably.
Yeah.
There is no
We're going
licensing.
with Google Assistant now. Is it gonna be Siri? We're going like fucking
Nah.
Bixby of all shit.
Yeah.
Fucking
Oh, fuck
Bixby.
no.
Get the fuck out of here, Samsung. What are you doing?
Oh
But
man.
the name of the voice assistant is gonna be Sally the Star Kitten. That's what's gonna happen. That's what
Oh,
Oh,
my
God.
god.
Tessa. It's gonna be Tessa.
Uh,
Oh my
Nope.
God.
Nope.
And every sentence afterwards is just
Yeah.
go meow, meow, meow,
Oh my
Meow,
God.
meow.
yeah.
No,
Oh.
no, and more nope.
What about Tessa?
Just
Tessa would make
Tessa.
sense.
Yeah. And whenever you get like a call, it will go, "Come in, random ship."
Come in, random ship.
That is like the right amount of spicy meme.
Yeah.
Like if you were to do something like that.
Yeah, why didn't they attach on to that meme? Why didn't they attach on to
don't know.
Tessa? I mean, like, it's like, oh, I got a great idea. This is totally left field, but why don't we take like a Hello Kitty knockoff and put a space helmet on it, and we'll say Star Kitten, and
Well,
I'm like,
I don't mind. Actually don't mind Star Kitten.
I don't mind.
This
I don't mind Star Kitten, but I understand why people reject it.
I don't mind it if it's just like one of like 100 different weird brands that fades into the background. I don't mind it. But it's like this like very forward meta thing. I very much don't like it.
Yeah.
And like there's something on Reddit that happened this week that I feel kind of bad about, where some poor fucking artist, I don't know who this person was.
The Snoop.
They posted this fucking like Star Kitten Snoop.
I
noticed that it
didn't.
Star Sister Reddit doesn't have a custom Snoop, so I made a Star Kitten one, and everyone's like, "Fuck you!"
They died of fucking fire.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh no! Like,
And then
fuck that thing. I don't want it. Fuck it.
And the
also,
guy was like,
really
I'm wondering
mad.
if
Clearly been working at this.
it was okay though, because there's some
Yeah,
people.
it's okay.
He said like, I'm wondering, am I getting downvoted because everyone hates Star Kitten or they don't like my stuff? And everyone's like, no, your stuff is great. It looks fine. It was like, and even people who are like, I hope Star Kitten gets shot into the sun and then nuke the sun so it goes supernova. Those kind of guys were commenting, it looks good. It's great. It's just fuck Star Kitten. This was the response.
Why couldn't they have just gone with a Big Benny's bowl?
Choice.
Well, I mean,
even that's a little
I think
overdone.
just to rehash again the Star Kitten thing, I don't think it's so much about the Star Kitten as the fact that, like what Dovak was saying, it feels like a forced meme.
Yeah.
Big Minis developed because we did it as a community.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's the thing is that,
like,
and I think Dovak's also right in the sense that if it fades in the background, if we get other kind of like
weird brands.
like Jensing the Xi'an cowboy selling death sticks on the open market or whatever.
It's got to be.
But
really
you have to
community
have
attached
something
stuff.
of now. But the thing is, you have to have something like that because everything so far it's been just adults in Star Citizen. But where are the kids? I mean, even if you have
you know what they could've
children
done?
NPCs, you need
It would've
something
been-
for the
well,
children. Like
It would have been easy if they would have put in the dog that died during the original Kickstarter deal as a representation of, hey, it's iconic. Everybody knows that dog was during the whole, Kickstarter moments. It was something iconic, and the dog had passed away, and that's how we're going to immortalize it in the game as a character, or
There's like a bunch of
would've been
fucking memes that have like completely fade into the background. Lamp, towel,
Yeah.
just to name a few.
Repair Bear, Repair Bear.
That have
Repair
no
Bear.
context.
Yeah.
I would like to see.
I've been
Go
dedicated
ahead.
to see. I've been dedicated to see the Repair Bear make a return because the Repair Bear, for those of you guys who don't know, comes from Chris Roberts making a mistake and instead of saying Repair Bay, he said Repair Bear,
There you
and
go.
then corrected himself, and so people latched onto it and started creating a meme called the Repair Bear. And I think that's where the paw comes from, the tool that's like the Omni tool that fixes stuff like that. But
Red one.
But now they need a TV show just like Smokey the Bear. He's going to be the Repair Bear. Only you can prevent the explosive decompression.
That would be freaking
yeah,
awesome.
or just like you don't want to leave. Don't trash space. Space is our only place to live.
Make it
you know?
like Smokey the Bear, except it's the Repair Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Repair your
Quantum
ships
fuel
regularly.
leaks.
Yeah, you know?
Only you can prevent explosive decompression.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's good. That's a good idea. I think
Thanks,
that would
Darge.
work. Yeah.
I would like to see him do something like out of the actual game meta too, like this whole thing with like what we were talking about with the studios with like Aaron Roberts, like bringing the fire with all these cool things. I want to make it competitive between him and Brian Chambers, like do like the showdown at Citizen Con. Will the man with the golden locks beat Aaron Roberts? The most awesome presentation ever.
Sunday.
It'd be
Yeah.
great. It's like best award,
Oh, and what happened to the golden shirt?
Well, it was actually.
This is
Oh
just gone.
God, no!
Yeah.
Please don't ever bring that. That needs to die. That needs to die for good.
I need to get
Never.
one of those. And the next time I'm on the Astropub, I'm going to wear it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get drunk and
But
go
no,
watch
like,
every
like,
episode again.
I've definitely had like people come to my chat while I'm like rolling around in like my fucking hangar or something, and it'd be like, "Well, you have a dirty towel in your fucking starship hangar." I'm like, "Look, there's this like I'm not even gonna explain it because it's like 5 levels too deep for you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it."
Now, I would like to bring up one piece of news that came out pretty recently, which is really cool, which is they went from requiring you to lock down the Ursa and the Dragonflies for 3.0 to not having to do so. They just recently released it like today or yesterday that they said you will not have to lock down the ship. So it's basically if it sits, it fits. The cat rule.
Yeah.
It's cat rule for pocket carriers. So that's
Cool.
just fantastic news.
That's really cool.
So they're actually progressing with the in-ship grids. So if it's inside, it'll stay locked to the mothership until you launch it. That's good.
Yeah.
And
Is
the other,
So that will actually.
Certain areas, or does it matter how you park it in there?
if it fits,
I-
it
I-
sits. Is what it was. What the
Yeah, they probably have where they have the magnetic mounts on the bottom of the ships.
That's
They probably
what I
put
would
For the
they probably
cargo,
put a
yeah.
border, invisible border around. Okay, if it's in this area, it will stick and stay there.
Because I also look forward
Yeah, it could
to
be for the cargo probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say I also look forward to where people that are foolish try to put loose cargo inside their cockpits in their areas, and it bounces around and kills them later.
They have
the
said-
box
they
bounces
have said
back
that,
and like knocks your co-pilot out as you're flying in a
They have
freelancer.
said that like,
And it'd be ironic if
things
it
like
was
skit
a space kitten
disappear.
plushie.
Yeah,
They've been very clear on the fact that it's like, guys, there's a technical limit here, and if you don't lock down your cargo on the magnetic holds, it might just, if you have it just in hallways, it might go poof into the ether, which is just kind of like, you know what, fine, at some point, fine.
yeah.
But
remember when
like,
the Terrapin
I don't
came
know.
out,
Yeah,
they talked about it. They talked about like, because people are like, well, can I just sit stuff inside the the bridge type area of the Terrapin? They're like, you could, but it might not be wise because with the G forces, you moving around, that shit just fly around the cargo, or not the cargo area, but the whole bridge area there, the little Terrapin. It could kill somebody.
And
So-
what about we're talking about like the vehicles, like, it would be super hard. Like all they have to do is like, hey, if this ship is in this physics grid and there's no one in the cockpit of this thing, and there's no one in it right now, fucking nail that shit to the ground and do not let it move. Like, that's all they gotta do.
Yeah, it's just a
What about
default
the
state
cargo
of the vehicle.
nets? The Starfarer has like a lot of cargo nets, especially along
Just
the
like
nacelles.
the Cutlass has them too.
Yeah.
Had.
We don't know about the new one, but the Starfarer has a bunch of cargo nets. So I'm always wondering if that's going to be like a functional way to put away like a box of cargo.
I'm sure at first it's just cosmetic, but I could see them jerry rigging something or making something so that you have like a layer of cargo and then you pull the cargo net across the cargo and then you can put more layers of cargo inside the cargo net. Though usually cargo nets usually designed to like hold down cargo rather than like stack it. So I don't know. You don't really need it.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of curious, Paul. Do you think? I guess a good example is the Freelancer. Do you think they'll have our little collector items that will lock down on like the dashboard? If you have that much room to put some stuff on the dash, do you think they'll have certain commodity items that are made to stick down and not move?
Yeah,
bobbleheads.
Yeah, bobbleheads and like
Space plants.
Space plants.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wall posters.
I want snow globes.
I think you know things that like you place with that how they've talked about the whole like place feature with like like the whatever grab your hands, it's like it turned into
Yeah, it's essentially how and I don't mean this in a bad way. I think it's a good way to see this. If you've ever played a game called Take on Mars, that's exactly how they do the placement system. You have a little outline where you can place it, and a lot of games do this. I think even Arma does this, where you have the placement where you're going to place it down, and you have it in your hands, and then when you place it down, it just kind of appears on the ground where you want it to be. But
Yeah.
Which I'm fine. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Well, they did show something similar, like you had some like the helmet in your hands, but the outline of the helmet was being
that's
projected.
What I mean. Yeah, it's the outline.
But they're just gonna take it one step further with Star Citizen. They'll actually do a 1 second animation, taking the helmet and putting it there, and then
instead of just they're going for more
I'd
fluid
Fidelity.
I'd be even okay
Fidelity,
with
yeah.
just. I'd be okay with even just it being poof there, just because it's
Yeah,
it's-
but everybody
that's a-
does that already.
But that's
I
a
was gonna
lot of
say, I don't think
animation.
Chris Roberts would be happy with that.
That's a lot of
he-
animation.
He wouldn't be at all. You would not be, not even close.
And here's the
No.
thing, like it's the thing that everyone forgets, right? Is like when you go into like a derelict player ship, right?
Mhm.
You've found crashed out in the universe, and you're like, oh god, everyone's dead here, so I'm gonna go do a little bit of scavenging here.
Yep.
And you're kind of like EVAing through this crashed like carrick or whatever. You're gonna find more than just cargo, more than just components. You're gonna find like, ooh, it's gonna have to be that like it's gonna be like battlegrounds where it's like a piece of candy, piece
Yeah.
of candy.
Yeah.
You're finding like rare cosmetic shit that they've decked their ship out, just kind of like zero G'ing through their ship. You're like, ooh, what's that? Oh, that's rare. Let's grab it. Ooh,
Yeah.
oh shit, I'm gonna put down my fucking desk. Let's grab that.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna need. Now I'm gonna need a tier 3 backpack for that.
Yeah.
exactly.
exactly,
Where's my
yeah.
tier 3 backpack?
Oh my god.
I'm gonna be the guy that somehow or another finds a way to fly my reclaimer into atmosphere, and I'm gonna find like a really small dragonfly wreck, and I'm just gonna gobble that shit up with the reclaimer. It's gonna be completely worthless,
Pac-Man.
completely just a waste of everything. But
I have another goal. My goal is to find a dragonfly wreck, bring it, like carry it with me instead of like wrecking it, and try to rebuild it from scratch. Be that guy who finds that Chevy in the
Yeah.
you know.
You like
Corvette
rebuild
on the
old,
side
old
of-
Harleys and
Yeah.
stuff.
Barn
Did you
finds,
see
yeah.
the guy on Reddit who was talking about reclaimer arm wrestling this week?
That'd be hilarious.
oh my god, wow.
It's just
I
like
mean,
an image.
technically, you could do
What?
it.
We have-
I
we
think
have-
one of them.
we have
the loser
Reliance-
gets
I still don't know-
rocketed
We have Reliant
1,000
slap fighting.
kilometers away.
We have
I
Reliant
don't know
slap
how
fighting.
that arm articulates though. Yet.
Well, I already told them that I want just like that concept art
Okay.
when somebody put the boxing glove on its fist. I
Yeah.
want to get. Can we buy one of those and actually have them
There we
do like a
Like-
rocker boxing?
Yeah, rock 'em,
Yeah.
sock 'em,
So-
robot,
Rock 'em,
old
sock
school. I
'em.
remember that.
There's
Yeah.
a thing that they do in Mexico where they take these like long sticks and
Whoa.
they attach like explosive caps to them, and then there's hammers, and then they like bang them on the ground, and then hammers go bam back over their head.
Oh, yeah, I
It's
saw
like
that, yeah.
It's like a weird fireworks thing they do there. It's also highly dangerous, and there's tons of YouTube
Yeah.
videos of people getting really fucked up with those things.
Yeah.
But
Doesn't sound
it'd
dangerous
be
at all,
funny to have
honestly.
like an explosive cap on it. You just ram somebody's fucking
Yeah.
into them.
I'm really
It really-
glad you went
it-
that direction because the minute you said there's this thing they do in Mexico, I got really scared. For a minute. It's just like, this could go wholly
This
the
could
wrong
go
way
terribly.
with this entire
Yeah, but
universe.
first, before you go anything, you have to go. Sir, I challenge you to fisticuffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poof. And then have like a torpedo at the edge of the arm and just go. Poof.
There you go.
Listen,
But yeah,
any excuse to have grappler combat from Lost Star and Star Citizen, I'm okay with. All right, just saying that.
Yeah, I'm just kind of
We're gonna
curious,
have-
although they can't get too detailed with it because there's going to be so many items you're going to be able to pick up that they're going to have some
Yeah.
kind of standardization of
Mhm.
not just the animation, but just pick it, it's in your inventory, and not
Like
just
a
hand
hand
grab.
reaches
Or just
out,
have, or
Yeah.
just have,
help with the hand.
Yeah,
Yeah, have the
Or-
hand
or-
reach out and then pull it back, and then suddenly the item disappears.
Yeah, it's
in
gone.
If
your-
you-
Yeah.
Remember what like
Mm.
Conan Exiles was that came out like earlier this year?
Yeah.
Literally,
Yep.
the animation was just arm reach outs, arm reach out, arm reach out for
Yeah.
every.
Yeah,
pickup
that would
animation.
work for yeah.
Well,
Unless, unless they actually make it procedural, so they have like a simpler bounding box for the physics for the item, and it just kind of wraps the arm around it and pulls it back.
Well,
They look awful. They'd be
I-
like
I
fucking
was
like
gonna say, I
Turok. It
thought-
would be like not Turok.
I
but
thought what
the,
they'd do is like the arm would reach out and it would take some matter from the object, you'd see the stats of it and it would just go through a damage state like what it does now for that region of the ship or whatever, like it'd take a chunk. Just like they have
what was the dinosaur game that had like the hands? It was like I think it was like Jurassic Park video game. It was first
No.
person, but it had like the physical hands. So your gun would be like, and then if you wanted to punch,
Oh,
like, if you-
trespasser.
Yeah, that's it. If you had like a stick, you like
Never heard of that.
swing
It
your mouse.
was
and
a good. It had
like,
good story to it. I really liked
into it.
I learned
And then
Jurassic
if you want to
Trespasser.
punch-
Oh, Trespasser.
Oh, it's fucking
Trespasser.
aw- it was awful. That's it. It was really
It's
good.
It's like it's what it's. Then you had to look at your boob to look and see if you had health because it had a little tattoo of a heart right there.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yes.
Oh,
was
that
so
was such a
tragic.
bad game. Oh my god, what did you? Oh no, not the memories are flooding back. Why?
You just
Why?
oh, you can't.
and his mind
Can't
melted
move your mouse
live
fast
on the
enough to get
captain's
momentum,
table.
and you just shit.
shit.
It's like, imagine they made a fucking dinosaur survival video game out of Surgeon Simulator.
Oh god.
That's what that fucking video game is. And I'm not kidding. I'm not even elaborating.
How old is the Jurassic Park Trespasser game?
Oh my
Wow.
God.
I don't know.
It's got to be pretty old.
Sherman knows what we're talking about too.
1990s? Because if that's the
Yeah.
1990s, I know the developers who worked on that because I was not my mom helped advertise that.
1998.
Yeah, no, my mom helped advertise that, and they came to me. You know, what their original idea was that those dinosaurs were going to have fucking collars, different colored collars on them to tell the difference between the good dinosaurs and the bad dinosaurs. That's how bad that
Aw.
development was. That's how bad that development was.
Oh,
I'm having
So
a
it's like-
question.
like a
Can you
ping bow.
imagine? There's a
Wasn't there
fucking
another
video
game that
with
came out that tried to
dinosaurs.
steal that idea, and everybody said it was terrible whenever they tried to do it on that game, and somebody else
Why would
tried
you
to
steal
rehash
a
it?
terrible fucking?
Can you just, I want you to, just for a moment, concept the idea that to tell if that's a good dinosaur or a bad dinosaur, you have to get up to its neck.
Yeah. No, it was a dumb idea.
Totally
It's a dumb
reasonable.
idea, especially in 1998 when the graphics weren't exactly fantastic. Where
yeah.
Yeah.
It's pixel hunting.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're playing at 160p, just like trying to is that a blue pixel or a red pixel? Really fucking dumb.
Alrighty.
So I got a question for you, Paul.
Yeah.
I want to know what you thought about the new hint system that they were talking about.
I glossed over ATV to be fair when I first saw it. So
Well,
I know
let me-
to a degree. It's kind of a it's kind of an assisted
Guide.
system, right? It's like a
Yeah.
guide, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
New
it's
player guide?
like a tooltip guide
Mhm.
thing where it'll come up, like if you start sprinting when you're a new player, it'll come up and it'll say, hey, if you do this too long, you better watch your, O2 levels and stuff because you could pass out and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Like them putting that in?
They need
I
to
hope to
do
God,
it.
I hope to God you can turn it off.
Yeah.
They needed to do that
Mhm.
for new players, and it's specifically it's what's delayed the game.
Yeah.
It's delayed the game a week, or
Mm.
Honestly, my opinion, I think that's great. I
Yeah.
like that better than a tutorial thing. I like dropping
Exactly,
people
because
in
it
the universe.
doesn't pause
It's
the
just
game.
enough.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
enough to hey, what am I supposed to do with this? Oh, okay. Read
Yeah.
it. Oh, cool. And then you kind of explore it. It's not some canned mission thing that you go through, and I think it's great for the stage of development. I think it's
Hey,
gonna
if
be
you
helpful.
walk up to your ship and you're just standing there for a second, it's like, hey, you gotta go up to the cockpit and then
Yeah.
you gotta hit this
Yeah.
button. and you get
100%.
into-
It's
Yeah.
easy for them to
Right.
change, and you don't have to redo a level
Yep.
to make a new player.
Mm.
Yeah, as long as
And it should be on by default, but they should
You
also
just
be able
checkbox
to
it
turn it
off, I
off.
hope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just like they've been talking about the ships. Eventually, you can either be really hardcore and flip all the switches, or you can put it in a mode to where, you get in your ship, you press one button, everything boots up, everything's running, ready to go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
If you're not
And,
one to,
we were talking about checkbox it off. This Hope
Yeah.
3.0 is hopefully quote unquote, who knows really. Hopefully the patch where we get an actual semi-proper settings menu for once.
Yeah.
That's gonna be hey, FOV settings.
I
hey,
wouldn't
actual
say it-
settings.
I
Default
wouldn't
motion
say
blur
for
off.
graphics. FOV, yeah, but not graphics.
Yeah,
We'll
motion
see.
blur off by default would be great.
I
And
think-
then we
Oh,
can
I
do
think-
ma-
good.
I
do
honestly think
data
we're
on
not
who
too
actually
far away.
enables it.
We're not too far away from that though, because we're starting to reach the point where we've got a little bit more stability in
Mhm.
terms of
Any amount of
gameplay.
AA, Chris Roberts, please, just any
The-
amount of.
The great thing about this hint
Please, God.
system, in my opinion, is say we get a brand new ship in the game, even post-launch. If they have systems that we're not used to or they implement new things, that works for even me. If I want to learn a new ship,
Yeah.
I can just get hints and then I can uncheck it when I don't want it, check it when I do. I don't know how to work this panel. Oh, here's some little tool tips and hints.
Right,
I-
especially because the Gladius now has in the cockpit 26 different buttons that you can press.
There you go.
And
I
two
mean,
screens you
I love
can't
that.
fucking see because
Yeah.
they're blinded by your Gatling gun.
Hey. All will be fixed in due
Well, they're
time.
rearranging all
Hey,
that stuff.
Fuck
in
the
the
Gladius,
cockpit
though.
anyway.
Fuck the Gladius. I hate it. It's a piece of shit. It's
I
always a piece of
love
shit.
it, and I
I'm
hate
glad
you.
It's more of a piece of shit. Fuck you people.
they laugh at me. I love the Gladiator bomber. I've always loved the Gladiator bomber.
I
just
did-
love
I did
broken
like-
wings
The
on it.
Gladiator-
I
pretty
did like the
badass.
Gladiator change, the change to the cockpit they did, where you can actually see shit now instead of being like.
That's
Yep.
what-
I
that's
don't think
my
it's an
favorite
actual change. They just changed the height of the head
Yeah.
and
They changed
actually
the
had it
FOV,
on an ultra wide. It
Yeah.
was an
Yeah.
ultra wide.
The-
So
Yeah, they just
The
they
FOV
changed the
and the
camera
height.
position.
Yeah, they literally
Yeah.
just fucked around with it a little bit. And
Yeah, that's it,
Way
yeah.
better.
Yeah.
And I
way
can't
more.
wait for the FOV. I'm just gonna set it to maximum, and then ask them to give me more
Yeah.
because it's not gonna be wide enough.
No,
What I can only see 360 degrees around me, Chris Roberts. What the fuck? I can't see all the
fidelity.
unless you can see a
But-
full sphere around you. It's not enough.
I will say this
Well,
about the Gladius.
how
I
much?
No.
I used to love the Gladius until the Buccaneer came out.
Yeah.
And now the Buccaneer flies like the old Gladius that I
hate
used to
the
love.
Buccaneer.
So I will ride and die on that Buccaneer. I love that thing.
Yeah.
I seem to
It's
get one
badass.
shot every time I fly the fucking Buccaneer, man.
I think
You
the
know,
no,
you
you
know,
get-
the
you get
the
wrecked
three
so
Rattler
hard.
missiles though. I
Yeah.
think it's a little OP.
Well, Rattlers
Yeah.
are broken as shit right now. That's
I
the
mean,
problem.
it's a win button
Yeah.
for most people. It's just like
The
oh,
Rattlers
just
are
launch
very
Rattlers at you.
I've had several experiences where I'm like, all right, fine, I'll go grind some UEC in my Buccaneer, and I've like
Yeah.
warped into like offline Comrade and instantly fucking died. Like I didn't even re-accelerate out of, like after warping.
The-
Like what the fuck just happened?
Buccaneers,
I love
Buccaneers are made of tissue paper and hope. But
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
I love it.
but you know what? That's the glorious thing about them is they're not designed as
Yeah.
frontline combat ships. They're designed as like sneaky combat ships. They're the kind of they're the
Mhm.
rogue of starships.
Yeah.
They sneak up behind you
Mm.
and stab you in the
They're
back
pretty stubby.
repeatedly.
If you actually go
You
look
know,
at them,
they're
they're
tiny.
wide,
They're
but they're like
tiny.
really, they're not long at all.
They're
No.
They have a very small profile to like try to hit too. So if you're a decent pilot and you can fly the thing around, you can irritate the shit out of somebody for
They're
no
real-
reason.
they're real
especially at
short,
high
they're a little
speeds.
stubby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if someone like made like a stubby X-wing, it
Yeah.
would be the Buccaneer.
I
That's what that is.
I've always associated the Buccaneer with the X-wing because even in the lines it's very similar to the X-wing.
Either that or the last
Yeah.
Starfighter ship.
Yeah.
The last Starfighter
Yeah.
ship had big engines.
Yep. Every
All right.
time somebody mentions Last Starfire, though, I want a ship that has a button, and I want that Death
Starf-
Blossom.
Yeah,
where you
Death
Yes.
Blossom.
kill
Yes.
everything
Yes.
around you, and then it leaves you entirely unprotected afterwards. So if
Yeah.
you don't kill everything,
And
you're just out there.
puking,
Yeah.
and you have to be puking your guts out into the
Oh,
Oh,
helmet
yeah,
after.
you're like you don't even you're knocked out. I think
Yeah.
it should auto black you out. You wake up and you see what the results are.
Yeah.
I mean,
Great.
hopefully it was awesome, you know. But
Oh, no,
That should be at the cartoon wall. That should be like the cartoon wall.
that's what they were
secret thing.
supposed
Yes.
to be. Yeah.
That
It
would
just
be
turns
great.
into like a weird morph ball.
Yeah.
and
That
just
would be
starts
great.
spinning rapidly.
yeah, it's like they're just AoE. They just launch a bunch of them, and these guys just black out and spin around and kill everything around them, and that's all they do.
I will say the one thing that I am glad about in these recent ATVs, especially this one, is that it seems like they're getting down to brass tacks in terms of how the game works. We're no longer talking about how maybe
Yeah.
one day, sort of in theory on paper that was written 4 years ago, kind of gameplay. It's like, oh, it's being done. And like, for instance, the idea that if it fits, it sits. You know, for the
Yeah.
for ships and ships, that whole concept means, hey, you know what?
Possibilities in this.
Yeah,
as
that
long
means
as-
it means, and the thing is that changed. That was originally you have to lock it down, and then it was first it fits, it sits, then you had to lock it down, and then it changed back to it fits, it sits to like today, and it's changed over the last couple of days or last couple weeks where they're actually getting down and saying, oh, it does work like this.
Yeah.
Holy shit, you know. Kind
I still don't think that the 3.0 patch is going to be like this, just crazy, holy shit, everything's changed. I think it really is just the beginning, and then it's like from there, now they're starting to develop all these things, like, you know, how does another ship work inside of another
Well,
ship, right? And it's like the
agree.
basis for everything.
Yeah. I think they're setting the environment though for all the game mechanics we're getting in, right? We're
That's
finally
what it is.
getting the environment for things like cargo and mining and those type of things to come into the game and really be tested. And I look at 3.0 like you said, as the beginning of that. But I think once we have the Delta Patcher and
Oh,
this
God.
stuff, then
Don't-
it will
don't
change
ever
the
say
way
that.
they deliver.
Don't say the D word.
We need it so bad, and I know
I
they
know,
want it too.
I
They
know,
want
I
it too. It's not something they're holding out on us because it
No, I
helps
know,
them
I
as
know.
well. But then instead of us seeing, oh my God, you know, they got a new gun in the game, they just fucking download. We ain't got to do a 32 gig build. It's like just put the new gun in the game, and that's
Delta
it.
Patcher. Your patcher can use 20% of your CPU instead of 10%.
Yep.
I was still ecstatic when I heard him talk about, yes, now you can use more cores, more threads. Like, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I just feel like a lot of people's hopes may.
Is anybody
might be
gonna get
little
a
high, though.
Is anybody gonna get a
Yeah.
Threadripper build just for shits and giggles?
of.
Maybe.
That's the new one, right? The new
Yes.
one from.
Yes, it's the AMD CPU that's literally this big.
Oh,
Not
Jesus
that big,
Christ.
but it's 16 cores, 32 threads. It's got,
Yeah,
and it can do 64 express lanes
CPU lanes. Yes, which Intel is still
on like 27.
no
48,
44.
something like
It's
that.
44 on
Yeah.
maximum, but still, it
I'm
was
waiting for the
44 for the
i9.
past 3 generations. What are they doing?
i9
But anyway,
next year, 18 cores i9. I'm getting.
Well,
that.
they already. Well, if
They got
anybody
they got
wants
the
to
same
really,
crop
if everybody wants to know really about it, watch Linus's last video on it because everybody's
saw.
really they're upset about it. They don't like it. They think it's
yeah,
because basically, why do that when you can go buy a Xeon board and get the same thing? Basically, they're just rehashing their old crap until because they're panicking. They don't know what to do. They're saying, "Oh God."
5.3 and with 18 cores. Are you kidding me? They're rehashing what they used to do.
Yeah,
Well,
they are.
What?
They are. Look at their.
no,
look
the
at their old-
current
That
the
stuff has
current
always been
KB Lake
available.
X
The stuff has
and
always been available.
Yes,
It's
it
just
always
been
has.
like super
Yes.
super crazy high.
Yeah, yeah. If you look at their
well, it's
their
cheaper
top
now. I'll buy it.
Their no, it's not cheaper, dude. Their
It's
top
not
their
cheaper.
top Xeon is $9,000.
I'm not gonna buy a Xeon. I'm gonna buy an i9.
I know. If you buy 99,
it
you're looking at
is a
2K.
Xeon.
2K. There you go. 2K.
Also,
Well,
whoever
basically-
decided at AMD to name their chipset 399, I'm gonna give them a big hug, because Intel went from X99 to X299, and now AMD has 399, and yay!
well, what
I still wipe my ass with
Literally
Andy every
just a
day. I
brand
don't
new
even
thing.
care about that
There's
shit.
been no technical there's been no technical advancement. They have not. They've
Yeah.
not like they're. It's not like they've invented a new higher tier set that didn't
Yeah.
exist before.
They haven't needed to.
Or they
AMD
didn't
hasn't
bring,
brought
they
anything
didn't
to
bring
the
anything
table
else
to make
down
them.
in price. They literally just they had this tech already. It was
Yeah.
just their super high end tier stuff, and they just
and what's-
rebranded it
Yep.
because they're trying to appeal it to consumers now.
Yeah, and what's
Yeah.
bad about it though is them rebranding it. They're actually cutting they're cutting the nuts off of a lot of the features that Xeon had in it. They're like basically putting it. They're soldering a lot of it off, a lot of the content that it could do, and that's why a lot of the content creators are unhappy about it because now it's like you want us to pay this premium price, but then you're not giving us half of what it could really do for us that we could use, and that's why they're really upset. And the reason why I like AMD's new technology, since I've been using the dual 1800X setup, is because now they're pushing more the utilization not only on the processor but on the RAM, on the motherboard's capability. So they're kind of more spreading it out, which is really nice. And that's why,
Which
you
is
know,
like
it
a
took-
180 of what they used to do
yes,
because
yes,
yeah.
yeah,
Because
The only-
because
and
before
there's-
it was everything consolidated on the CPU, and now they're just spreading it out again.
yeah,
And
basically.
then they've always had these super high end chips. Like last generation, they had the
Mm.
whole like Haswell E stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And like they've always had this stuff. It's just been like, and now it's basically just they just rebranded it during a big marketing push and trying they're trying to push it on high end end users, and that it's.
Well, I'm still on a Z97. I have 16 lanes. Fuck me.
Sorry, what is Z?
It's a chipset. It's Intel chipset.
He's talking about my pronunciation of the last letter of the English alphabet.
I was confused for a second. Can you retry that, please?
Z97.
Ah, thank you. Now, okay, yeah.
Texas,
I'm
Texas
sorry, I
speaks
was
in
confused for a moment.
American. He speaks American. He doesn't understand the Z.
Yeah.
And like, what's your new thing? It's like X299 or something, and it's like
Mm.
super.
No, it's XZ. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, we have this really awesome fucking like new platform for you, and also we like stripped out a bunch of features.
So, what do you guys think about the inner thought system with the air traffic control for Star Citizen?
God
I
damn,
like
yeah.
it.
I was waiting for this conversation to see if we could die down a little bit.
Tangent Twitch? No, never. Not on this show. Tangent.
No, I actually enjoy how they're planning on doing that. It sounds a lot more
Yeah.
complicated though than I think we're like. It seems.
I think
more,
I'm actually gonna have a reason to use my track IR on a regular
yeah.
thought system coming in like that. I think it's gonna make it really a lot cooler to be able to actually use the switches and use all the different panels and all the different menu systems and stuff.
Yeah. Well, also you can use not only Tracker R, but that other new system that they got out where it tracks your eye
The
movement.
Toby,
Yep.
Toby.
Yeah,
guys,
Toby,
right?
yeah. Yeah, I want to give that
Haven't they
one.
had that for a little bit?
Yeah, it's been
What
out
is
for a
that?
while. They
Yeah.
incorporated it. They did a partnership with Asus in one of their current monitor builds, where they had it actually built into the monitor. And all it is it's got these infrareds that are tracking your eye movements, and basically you kind of stare at it, let it calibrate to your eye movement, and then wherever you look on the screen, it will.
And it works really
go
well.
in that
It
way,
works
Yeah.
really well.
And I
I
think
want to try
yeah,
it.
there's
I wanna
a-
try
there's
it out,
actually
'cause I wanna make
laptops
sure
coming
it
out
works
with it.
well with glasses and everything. Because I heard it
Yeah.
works
It
well
does,
even if
yeah.
you wear glasses.
Huh.
I was like,
Actually,
So-
it theoretically, from what I know of infrared, it shouldn't, because glass
Yeah.
blocks infrared.
yeah.
But like the thing was for a while there was like rumors of like them putting out like a next gen Vive that had like eye tracking like.
Yeah,
in
I
it
heard
or
about that
something.
rumor. I was going to say there's a rumor
Yeah,
that 5
well, there's
version 2 is going to have eye tracking rather than.
Yeah, well, there's also that headset that was on Kickstarter that did the same thing. It almost looks like the concept of the new Vive, where it's kind of like it's more sloped halfway over your head, and basically what it does is have the built-in eye tracking into the actual. It's a special lenses that they built that actually tracks your eye movement.
I wondered if HTC or Valve actually just bought up the company that did the
I
initial
wouldn't be.
Kickstarter.
Well, no,
They might have.
They might have, but the thing about the
Yeah.
the Toby is that it was produced
Yeah.
by Ubisoft. So the eye tracker they purchased the rights to it. So I don't know.
And was what you're saying is
Well,
like,
there's
the
actually
ROG
laptops
monitors
coming
have
out with
it built in
Toby.
now.
Huh?
Like the Asus ROG monitors have it built in now. That's what you're saying.
It was the Vove. The Vove had the eye tracking.
And there's some laptops
Wait,
as well.
what the
that
fuck makes
come-
a VR headset and calls it a Vove? What the fuck is that?
somebody overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Get the fuck out of here,
It's-
man!
Yeah, it's Chinese. Yeah.
Bullshit.
But yeah, they heavily advertised it with Sword Art Online. Obviously, looking at their webpage.
All right, because
It's actually pronounced advertised. It's the Vove, it's an advertising.
All righty, moving on with Star Citizen discussion because we've gotten off on enough tangents as it is.
No, never.
The takedown animations. I'm a little concerned about the takedown animations only because I'm concerned that in a game like Star Citizen where you die and it means something, being like having someone stick up to you and stick a knife in your back like instant death seems kind of unfair. You know,
But it seems real. I mean,
it does, but at the same
it's-
time, there's real and fun, and
Yeah.
being insta-gibbed because you turned around at the last moment because you're like waiting for somebody to show up.
but
doesn't
hey,
sound fun.
but if your back is to someone and they have a P4 AR, 1-2 shots to the head,
yeah.
you're dead anyways,
Yeah,
right?
well,
I mean, maybe on the knife animation they could have went with like where you stab in the shoulder, turn around, and use the back end of the knife to knock them out, basically, and just throw them on the ground like that. Maybe something like that, where they're still damaged but they're not dead.
The only
But
major thing I could
that's
see is,
taking the decision away from you whether you want to kill or just knock out.
yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is that I think that the way that they're doing this, the health mechanics going forward, is that if you get knocked out or if you get killed, you're not actually dead. It's like in D&D or other pen and paper RPGs. It's like when you reach 0 hit points, you're not dead. You're just bleeding out. And if you don't
there's
get
a
some
revival
health,
chance.
if you
Yeah,
don't have the health
then you
someone
have
to revive you, then
3
eventually
yeah.
you die. Kind of thing. That's a pretty common mechanic in like even Battlefield games where you have a bleed out mechanic where you have a certain amount of time to be able to get revived before
And
going
I
back
wonder
up.
if they're going to do that in a time frame, or like say your spaceship explodes. I mean, Chris Roberts has talked a lot about being able to recover people out in space and stuff like that. I wonder if it's like going to be almost like a Fifth Element, like where if you're still a stable DNA form, is there a chance of revival or something? Are they going to be able to like?
It's like, hey, you're dead, quote unquote, and it's like you have a black screen and you have options like, hey, do you want to just give up the ghost and start a new character, or do you want to like activate your tracking beacon in your suit?
Yeah,
and,
that's
like,
what. That's
and go
what
log
Yeah.
off for the night and like
Yeah, but
maybe
here's
in
the
morning
thing.
you'll be back.
Like, here's the thing. It is 930 years in the future. Maybe like the spacesuit has some sort of way of internal, like, emergency
nanotech.
medical tech, just to keep you alive until you get rescued.
Yeah, put you in medical
nothing
coma
to actually. Yeah, nothing to actually make you healed up so you can actually get up and go,
No,
but just
yeah.
to keep you alive.
Yeah.
And that's why-
they have mentioned a lot that it's like disabling someone is far more valuable than killing someone. Because
Yeah.
killing someone is like by far in the UE like the worst crime you could possibly do.
And
And it's like
that's what I'm saying.
there's a difference between the pirate who just knocks people out, robs, and steals, and the pirate who kills people and steals.
Yeah.
Like, it's a big
Yeah,
difference.
yeah.
I mean, to put the question back into its context, though, first off, again, if someone's facing away from you, you can just shoot them, and then
Yeah.
they're dead, or whatever it is. So to kind of pull out what actually happens? Do you die or not? The only issue that I have with the animations is I don't want to be able to go up to the front of somebody and all of a sudden lock them and me into this animation without them having any sort of recourse, and they're just dead instantly, right?
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
behind, it makes sense. Maybe from the
Behind-
sides, like these
yeah, or the
takedowns.
side like they showed on camera. I could get
Yeah.
with both those instances.
But
'cause
for
you're
the
not
front,
situationally
no.
aware of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for some fucking reason, when you
Excuse your
said
language.
you're
Wow.
for some fudged up reason,
Thank
is that
you.
better? Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
much
Yeah.
better.
I think I've been drinking this too much, but whenever he said when he said, yeah, it's British. It's bringing another British in me. Yeah, British. Yeah.
And-
When you said you come up to them
Spent too much
from
time
the
on
front and it locks you in animation, for some reason in my mind that went into a waltz, like you're.
Yeah.
And then you're dancing with them because you're locked in a dancing animation with them.
Yeah, and I do like what Sherman said. At a certain point, you're going to have to die, and which makes sense. And I don't think anybody is saying you shouldn't. None of us are saying you shouldn't die if you get stabbed.
I'm worried
in the neck
about
with a
dying
fucking
5
knife.
times in the first 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
that's where I'm worried about.
It's more like also the animation lock is things we've been talking about is the idea that like if I'm coming up behind someone and I'm gonna knock somebody out, I want to be able to go whack and they fall down, or even crush their skull. I want to be able to go bash in the back of the head. They're dead. They're on the ground. Rather than sit there and go.
It's like
"Oh,
Rose
stab,
Liquor
stab,
coming out
stab.
over here.
Yeah,
You have to like
know?
whittle on them for a half hour.
Yeah,
to make
exactly.
Sure they can't get
Like,
rezzed.
and then at the end of the day, you're sitting there like doing your fucking Assassin's Creed bullshit to kill somebody,
Yeah.
and then the dude's buddy walks around the corner as you're
Well,
going
and
like,
I think this is
and you
why
get shot in the back of the
this
head.
again
Like,
is why the Death of the Spaceman document needs to be updated. I mean, originally the intention was the whole thing. Chris Roberts like death is meaningful. You're only going to get like 4 or 5 lives of this character and do a new one. I don't want to roll through a new character every day. And I know the counter to that people, well, don't do stupid shit. Well, sometimes you can just be a transporter. Maybe there's a high pirate activity around there, and you're going to get pwned a lot, and it happens. You don't want to always be total death on everything. And most people, they're going to want to make sure you're at least disabled, if not dead, so they can complete their part of the mission or what they want to do. So
Yeah.
I think that's important to do.
I mean, hang on. So, Noobifier says, well, please no counter. But I mean, then what is the alternative? If there are
I don't want to counter.
takedowns, I know, but if there are takedowns, then what can you do? Okay, great. Like if someone comes up behind you with a knife, I mean, you should probably die or whatever
Absolutely,
the consequence of that is.
What
But
about
what if
a
someone
sort of
what if
personal
someone
shield?
sprints at you, light armor, fucking playing up on live,
It's not a
just
one
sprint
shot
straight
kill.
at you
It
and
could
locks
hurt
you in.
you. It could
Okay.
hurt you, but I don't think it's a one shot kill. Maybe 2 or 3. It gives the player a chance to try to react to that instead of. But the behind the scene animation or even at the flank, those are one shot. You weren't aware you're going to die or you're going to be
Okay.
disabled or whatever. That's
what
where
would be nice for like the behind the back is like if like what happens instead of the fully completed animation is like they just grab you, have knife to your throat, and then they have like, well, knock this guy out, or do you want to kill him? So it's not just like you have to kill him. It's like you can just disable him and move on.
Well, I think I would
Or-
like
or
that
it could be
similar
insta-kill,
thing.
depending on what you want to do.
Or what happens if you don't use a knife? You have a choice of if you're going to go at him, use rifle butt. If you want to knock
Yeah.
him out, then it's your choice of weapon. If you're choosing a knife, you're there to
Cattle
kill.
stun gun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think this is where the not really, it's not been mentioned in a while, but the less than lethal weaponry that was being designed years ago for bounty hunting will start taking place. Like the idea that you could walk up to someone and just like stun them, like hit them with a stun gun and they're just down on the ground. That kind of stuff is interesting, but that's still probably a ways away. That also leads into a lot of trolling, and I'd love to see that in Star Marine. Just walk around with like one team just doing nothing but stun guns and capturing people. So people get up, stun them, stun, Stunned, just keeping him on the ground while you
Meet our
capture
slaves.
everything, you know?
Oh,
First off, I'm not using a knife. I'm using a broken in half Shiner bottle.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Let's get that
A
clear.
bar style.
This is
with,
what
the,
I need.
with the Astro
Yeah.
Pub label on it. Or
And I
something.
think Sherman's got a point there. He says, if
Paul
someone
says
snipes-
hello.
Yeah, Matt Sherman says that if someone snipes you in the face from 1K meters and kills you, do you get a magic save from that? To a certain extent, that's knives, because only so much you can ask for mechanics to absolve from the end user and their situational awareness. So, that's true. But I mean,
It's an
I don't know.
MMO.
I look
That's
at
the
being
problem.
sniped as situationally aware to a certain point too. I mean, if I'm just standing out there and a guy gets me, then yeah, I'm dead, just like the knife mechanic, But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
The problem is it's an MMO.
How's
and
the death
people get
mechanic gonna
really,
work?
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that if we're still
in
doing
what
with
instances
insta-death,
are
when
we
you can
still
stuff.
salvageable? I mean, if our ship
See-
blows up, is everybody instantly dead? Is that the plan?
Is it game
I don't
over,
know.
start over again? Because we haven't
I'd
heard
like to
anything.
see-
I'm okay
the
with
ma-
this. I just need to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'd like to see the majority of the punishment for death being that you lose the shit that you have, right? So
You
maybe
lose
if
what
you're
you
just
had- you
waltzing
lose what you had
around.
on
You had on you.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you're waltzing around in some civilian clothes and you get sniped, I mean, yeah, okay, there's some other, there's some other detriment there, sure, but great, I lost a pair of khakis, I don't really care.
Well, you should
Right?
lose
But if
your.
you're out in your ship that's decked out and you get blown up, well, bye, your ship's gone. You've just lost a lot. So you've got, that sort of mechanic. that's-
Unless it's insured.
Don't be stupid.
But-
I mean,
but you'd have to insure everything, even your-
Yeah,
even your-
it's only insuring the
Even
hull
your-
and whatever weapons
yeah,
you want to insure.
even
But
your
all your little
Tuvaran-
knickknacks and stuff.
Yeah, your Tavaran
Yeah.
hula girl,
Oh,
gone.
yeah.
Your
Yeah.
the armor.
No,
the-
gonna
not
be
my
cool.
Tavaran hula
yeah,
girl.
like all
I
that
have a
shit.
solution, honestly.
Well, I hope that they implement at least something where you can go in there and spray paint the inside of there saying I was here, took your stuff.
I took your shit, dude.
And,
Hey,
and, like,
I have a
it
solution.
can also work as a detriment too. You're talking about like the inheritance stuff, and like hey, your next character like inherits like the assets of what the other
Khakis.
character had. But they can work to your detriment too, where it's like, hey, I'm a
Khaki
pirate, I'm a super fucking outlaw, unless I am like losing lots of my money, like sanitizing this UEC to be like legitimate, or like I have to fence all these goods and have this shit money. I have to launder all this money, and so like if I die, my next character is not reaping as much of the benefits as this character. is.
Absolutely.
To kind
Absolutely.
of solve for all this stuff as far as like takedowns go and the sniper shot, I think Star Citizen should just move to a turn-based model.
Yeah, it's turn-based.
Oh
there
my
we go.
God.
I think
4X.
that's-
I hate
It's a
you
free,
so
Four
much
X.
free to play
right now.
card game. It's
I
a
hate you so much right now.
Just everything. We're going to a card game.
No, I'm just.
Yeah,
Roll it-
Star Citizen
roll it
is an expansion of Hearthstone.
Yeah.
It's a futuristic pub. That's it.
No,
That's it.
and
We're there.
and
We're like everybody there.
An
Or is
Astro
it-
pub, you want to say?
Wait,
And,
is this a card
And
game?
Paul,
It might
Uber
be.
Nerd,
We have
Paul
like little
Uber Nerd
cards.
said something else in chat I
Uh-huh.
want to point out too, because he's in the discussion with Sherman as well. He said, he says, isn't the game supposed to be skill based? Because stabbing animation is not skill based. And Sherman responded with, is lurking behind someone without them knowing, meaning it's not skill based. And in my opinion, for everybody here who's played PUBG or anything, yeah, sneaking up behind somebody, if you have good audio and the fidelity that we have in
Oh, you
Star
can catch
Citizen
them
while I'm
easily.
streaming,
Yeah.
that's skill based, because all you have to do to be situationally aware to stop that type of auto animation would be see the guy.
Look.
Yeah.
If he approaches
Or-
from a
or
non-blind side,
here.
you're not getting an instant stab.
Yeah.
You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah, as long as like I would really not like a situation where someone can just sprint at you, run around your back, and just
No,
like Dark
no.
Souls backstab you. I don't want
Yeah.
that. Can we not have that? Can we not have the fucking PvP meta of Star Citizen?
I don't think it should be a
assholes with
one-shot
knives,
kill.
circle strafing each
Yeah.
other.
I don't think it's
Fucking,
only.
like
I don't think it's ever a
backstab.
one-shot
Shield
skill
break
as
each
long
other.
as
Can
you
we
can
not have
face
that,
the
please?
person. I don't know. I mean, if you're just standing there AFK and a guy walks in front of your face and walks behind you and stabs you, I think that's your own fault. Or being AFK.
Yeah,
scared
I'm
there.
not saying that. I'm saying
Yeah.
like, oh god, if someone's like sprints at you and you're
Yeah.
like, oh hey buddy, and he just runs behind you, gets in the back, like that motherfucker.
Realistically,
that's when you
what if
break
there
through.
was a
That's why you
delay,
need
though?
count. That's why you do need counters.
What if there was a delay
Oh.
though? Hey, fuck counters for a second. What if there was
Yeah.
a delay to the animation? So I'm the attacker. I've got a knife, right? For the first half of my animation, you, my victim, are not locked into it, so you can still dodge out of it. And
Yeah.
then if you haven't reacted in half a second or a second's time, that's when you get locked in and get stabbed and then
'Cause you're dead
or
anyway.
something like that worked.
Yeah,
Like I mean,
so-
is that
Or
a
maybe,
potential
or
viable
what if you
option?
have like I've been watching a lot of SG1 lately because SG1 is fucking badass. And what about personal shields? That
No,
No,
I'd stay
I'm
away from
out.
personal
Yep,
shields.
I'm out
Nah.
on this.
Yeah.
Here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna pull out your $200 knife. You're gonna bunny hop across the planet, and then
Hang
you're
on, it's gonna be
and then
skins
you're
too.
find someone
Your
to
$200
pull out
skins.
your EWM.
Don't forget about my pink
AWP,
Star
and you're
Kitten
gonna
shirt.
snipe
I'm
someone.
wearing.
Well,
That's
you
how
got to
this
remember
works.
also they do.
Hey,
have,
Dougie.
They do have heavy armaments in Star Citizen, so you
Show
know
the
not
Dougie.
necessarily you might not be able to. You know,
Which
if
is
somebody's wearing the heavy
why
arms,
you
yeah.
gotta win the first round. You gotta rush B because then they won't have enough
Rush B.
money to
Rush
get the
B.
helmet,
Rush
so
B.
you can get a deagle and headshot them down the second corridor.
Everyone-
Damn.
everyone
my
rush
God.
B.
oh
Eat the
yeah,
cat.
what is
Saka.
the Star Citizen equivalent of an eagle?
The
I don't have
new
it
gun
yet.
that they showed off. They showed off that pistol. That's it.
Nah.
I think that's gonna be.
No, that's
badass,
too
but
small.
it's not a
That's too
deagle.
small.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool. It'd have to be a bigger, heavier.
like the
pistol.
rogue.
Yeah.
Something
Rogue-
stupid.
Rogue-
I
Yeah,
would promote it
and
being-
whenever you shoot it, it has so much kickback, it hits you in the face and knocks you
It
out.
should be like a Van
That
Duel
would be
pistol
cool.
or something like that. It should be an alien gun that like is just like OP and just kills like Van Duel with one shot.
You know the thing in Broken Moon, the terraformer,
Mhm.
terraforming thing. That's it, right there.
That's
That's the
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 terraformer.
terraformer is the
That's a
decoy.
little larger than holster
Terraforming
size.
platform.
Hello. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, Lord.
There we go.
Oh,
You guys are back.
um,
Sorry about
Hold on. Let's wait until Paul fixes the strum.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
I can hear
Yeah.
you
Good.
now.
Okay, good. We're just
We can hear each other.
I feel like
yeah.
I just bought some stock in Verizon.
Chrome decided that it's going to take up all of my CPU space suddenly, so I'm moving to the mobile setup, but I need to crash Chrome. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, come on. There you go. We should be good now. Can you hear me? Oh, fuck. One second, ladies and gentlemen. The problem about the mobile setups.
I was like, that would be
There we go.
badass.
Fucking
would be
finally.
badass.
Okay, so
There he is.
I'm back now after all of that issues. Yeah, the problem about being on the move and trying to do things. Let me set up the. I was
Oh
gonna
yeah,
s-
I was gonna ask you what's with your closet camera.
Oh, the closet camera. This is
Paul
we're
Shelley's
actually
in the closet.
no
No, he's out of the closet.
Honey, I came out of the closet years ago.
R. Kelly's in the closet.
Oh,
Sorry,
Jesus.
South Park.
So I'm moving to Texas, and on Monday is the actual official move date. So this is the last day I'm here. I'm actually in my parents' place, but my parents aren't going to be home until
Daniel,
Sunday,
what did you
so,
do?
What?
What did you do? He's moving to Texas.
Oh yeah. Why'd you call me Daniel? No one calls me Dan. Actually, people call me not Daniel.
Tex.
Da-
His name is Tex.
Tex.
Paul, like
Beardo.
you have to kill someone first before you're allowed to move to Texas, right?
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, that's
Texas.
the rule.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it. Whataburger. That's the reason.
Oh.
Hey. My wife's parents they live there in Los Angeles, so well, north actually, but they do love Whataburger.
Ew.
They come every
Whataburger's
time they
fine.
come to, yeah.
All
They
right.
come
The
over,
other
they
thing
love
I
it.
said was, as recently I made a statement saying
Nah,
like that
I'm not
Whataburger
listening to you.
isn't as good as people like to think it is, and it's just that all of the major burger joints out there that are like considered the best burgers in America, they're usually pretty good. They're not bad. It's just they're usually also better choices in terms of.
They're
In-N-Out
good for
I had
shitty
In-N-Out
fast.
for the first time.
Yeah, they're
compared
good for
to shitty
shitty
fast food.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
DisneyCon 2016, I had In-N-Out for the first time in my life. I was
It
underwhelmed.
sucks.
I was underwhelmed.
It's
Same.
horrible. In-N-Out
I,
sucks.
I think we actually were at the same restaurant at the same time, with the horrible long waits. I don't know. I used to
I was
wait
not
less
In-N-Out.
time
Thank
at a
you very
doctor.
much.
Yes, exactly. I used to wait for less time at a doctor's office than I waited for a fucking In-N-Out
Okay,
burger.
cool question. Do you guys are there Krispy Kremes like out west? Do you guys have Krispy Kreme?
Yes.
The In-N-Out I was in felt like it was built inside of a Krispy
Kreme?
It was weird. It was fucking a weird situation. It's like if you look, you people need some Jesus in you. You need some fucking Five Guys. Burgers
Yeah,
and fries.
five guys is good.
Five
Yeah.
Guys.
Five Guys is awesome.
It's greasy.
Awesome hamburgers. But Whataburger's
So-
gross.
so,
You don't agree.
All right. So
Don't.
I finally have everything up, so I'm gonna do the questions right now. If
Okay.
you guys have any questions with for the cast, you can hit exclamation point question, exclamation point question mark, exclamation point questions in chat, and that'll bring you a link.
So we
You hit that
actually
link.
did talk about 2 topics from the ATV.
Well,
Yeah.
we did. We
Yeah.
actually talked about something from ATV, which is fantastic.
E high five, guys.
Yeah, woo, 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 woo.
It's all over the place.
It's the captain's table, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's just the community coming together and talking about shit that we want to talk about is always a good idea, and it's tangentially related to Star Citizen. So,
Yes.
so we only have 3 questions so far. So exclamation point questions, exclamation point question mark, exclamation point question in chat. We'll actually give you a link to a form you fill out and ask a question. It can be to each individually. You can go to the whole chat, the whole table. You can ask us specific questions about specific things or more broad questions. You can also ask us official CIG questions, which we cannot answer, but we will pretend that we can, except for Papa Dolvac, who has been quoted as CIG several times. So he can give you official.
Like
and
5 at this point.
And what I'm kind of afraid about is that for the last 4 or 5 captain's tables, we've had CIG members in chat. So I'm at least actively in chat. So I'm always like, I feel uncomfortable answering questions that are CIG questions and being like, totally confirmed, go fuck with CIG about it. But
Here's
I'm
something
still
we
gonna
didn't
do
talk
it.
about.
I'm
There's
still
something
gonna-
we didn't talk about.
I have no problem with that at all. Let's do it.
Nope.
Something
No problem.
we didn't mention in this podcast was the entire fucking community freaking the fuck out yesterday at schedule report because things got delayed a week, as
Well-
if they didn't see that coming or something.
We talked about this. We talked this to a degree in that it's the hints system.
Whataburger. Thoughts?
How it is,
Yeah.
like as a whole,
Delicious or very delicious?
compared to what?
Five Guys.
Ooh,
Hang on, we have the
Oh,
food
the question-
expert,
the
the
plot
Death
thickens.
Panda. Yeah. All right, you took too long.
not as good as Five Guys, but very, very good.
Good
See,
man.
confirmed.
Good man.
Five
Good
Not
man
as good
right
as
there.
Five
Okay.
Guys. Very, very good. Thank you.
Good man.
Thank you for, you want a glass?
I'm with it. I'm with it right there.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So
Sorry about that.
I'm going to
but
Five
no-
Guys
Yeah,
tomorrow
but
now
the-
for your guys' recommendations.
the
I've
reason-
never had it before.
you should have Five Guys. I would as much as I made that Twitter post about it.
I didn't mean to get down this
Everyone should, if you have a chance to, eat Five Guys, In-N-Out, and Whataburger, just so you can have tasted the big 3.
I'm just
Or
gonna
other ones out
I'm just gonna here to announce my new podcast. It's called The Burger Table.
The Burger
Just
Table.
stay tuned.
Dude, I'm there.
Immediately after, we're gonna be on my channel. We're gonna have a 3-hour-long burger talk.
Oh
I'm
God,
We're gonna
man.
go over there
down.
and we're gonna just talk
Fuck.
about fast food burgers for the next 3 hours.
All right, so
Oh yeah, and Tex knows that when he comes to CitizenCon, I'm taking him to an amazing burger place that
All
I
right.
know in
Wait,
Cologne.
I think Wendy's needs an honorable mention there. 'Cause I like Wendy's. as far as like your
No.
basic bitch trash food,
No.
Wendy's
No.
is top. If you're talking like Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's is up there. It's pretty good.
All right.
Okay, hang on.
I'm
sample
gonna
size is Burger King and
I'm gonna take
McDonald's,
over this
right.
right now and continue on. The reason why it was delayed ostensibly is because they had to add the hint system in, which makes sense because they want to make
It's
sure that
needed.
the new player experience works.
Yeah.
And we
It's
need
needed.
that for 3.0 because 3.0 is going to attract a fuck ton, and I mean a fuck ton
Yeah.
more attention than any other patch. So if it delays it a couple of weeks, that's fine. And don't freak out because it delays it a couple of weeks. More than likely, the game's probably going to be delayed. 3.0 is probably going to be delayed until sometime in August anyways, probably before Gamescom. The reason
No.
why I say that is because it's just
My
going to
beer.
require a lot of stuff. However, the big thing is that it's going to be released into Evocati and PTU probably sometime in July. It's just going to be a long time in PTU, just like we saw with 2.0. It's as big of a jump from, in terms of technology, as 1.0 was to 2.0,
Bigger.
as from 2.0 to 3.0, if not bigger. So it's going to spend a lot of time in testing. You'll be able to see it. I wouldn't freak out about it too much. It's just going to be in closed testing for a bit, and then eventually more and more people will get into it. And by the time it releases live, pretty much everyone who plays the game regularly will have played 3.0. So don't. If you're freaked out about delays, it happens. And at least put it this way: at least CIG talks to us about delays. They used to not talk to us about delays. Now they tell us when there's a delay. That's
the biggest
better.
problem is that people
and there's
join Star
people
Citizen
bitching
today.
still.
Hey, Mr. Europe, no more. You're Zeds and not Z.
You just gave him all kinds of like power. He's like Mr. Europe, all of Europe, in one man.
So
George,
it's Captain
please,
America
please.
versus Mr. Europe.
This is Mr. Europe.
There you go.
Put him up. Put him up.
It's actually
Sorry,
Sir
George,
Europe.
Put him up.
Sir Europe. Lord,
Yeah,
Lord Europe.
and it's spelled SER instead of SIR.
Count.
The problem is that you actually do have all these new players that come into Star Citizen and they spawn in, especially like during free fly weekends and whatnot. And that's like your prime opportunity to capture new players. And they come in and they spawn at Port Olisar and then they're like, what the fuck? Sometimes people are helpful in chat. Sometimes we've got a great community about that. And then sometimes we've got people that are like, go fucking look it up. Dumbass.
Yeah.
I'm that guy.
And-
I literally lie to people
RTFM.
in Crusader chat these days.
And we
I-
lose
I
people
like causing
that.
mayhem. It's
No,
just
not from you, but we lose people from not having that solid new player experience, and it's shitty because it's a pre-alpha game, and we're having to talk about a new player experience in the hint system and things like this. But it's true. If we want to bring in new players and be as welcoming as possible, I say we, I mean CIG. We need this, and they need something like that. So that if that means delaying 3.0, which is going to be a huge spotlight moment for CIG and Star Citizen, then so be it. I want them to do it right, and I want them to get those new players, and I want them to keep the new players.
Within reason.
Yes.
Like we want to make sure the new hit system works, not that it has gilded, studded, Navi-esque, perfect,
Yes.
hey,
Yes.
listen, look at this thing. This is how you scratch your balls in game, kind of situation.
I've been
No,
trying to
I
figure
think-
that out for a while, Paul. Do you have any insights? Anyone know?
It's Alt F12 is what
Alt
it is.
F4?
Alt F4.
This is
Alt
what you
F4.
meant to say.
Yeah.
Yes, Roger. I'll
No,
try
no,
that.
Alt
next
F1.
time.
My balls have been itching for
So-
the longest time, and I don't know how to scratch them.
see, not
Help.
having itchy balls gives you a +2 stamina modifier.
Damn it.
Ooh.
Damn it.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Anyway, I think Paul was trying to wrestle this out of our hands.
How many
and make
questions
his
you
own.
got now, Paul?
I actually have a lot of questions now. It was
Okay.
also a good delaying tactic because I had three questions. So Southern Jumper
Excellent.
asks, essentially, new ground vehicles and what design functions do you think we'll have? Are we going to have cargo, mining trucks, so on and so forth? What do you guys think in terms of these new ground vehicles that are coming out?
Well, there's actually a good post on Reddit, like just the other day, about the Nox. Like, we still don't know what the Nox is, and there's like that weird like motorbike thing that we saw in the background of an ATV a couple weeks ago, and it's like they need more ground vehicles, and they're making more
A
ground
rolling
vehicles.
ambulance. An
And they
ambulance would be a good one.
reference a new
wambulance?
ground vehicle.
Yep.
Like, I think it's like this week maybe.
Mm.
Like, we know we're getting more, and like we know the Nox is soon, and so maybe.
Yeah, I think they need because obviously there's going to be a police type UE presence. They need some type of vehicle for that. some type of vehicle for an ambulance, some type of vehicle for mercenary.
They need,
You know,
they need a space
with
pickup truck. They need a space pickup
Yep,
truck.
there you go. Yep.
Yep.
If you're hauling big, like you say you set you're going to a CD scene, you know, you want to set your ship out, and you have a trucker type truck that can haul or larger cargo, but you want to haul it away from there, you know, because it is a CD area, and you don't want people, you know, stealing your ship.
Or
stuff,
even
so
you
you're gonna
can't
park
land
away.
on you can't land at a remote outpost on
Yeah.
a mountaintop because there's not enough
Yeah.
pad big enough for you. So you land at a pad below on the mountain, unload everything to the truck, and then drive the truck up to the outpost, unload it, and come back
Yeah.
down, kind of situation.
That would be good. Yeah.
You know. So I think we're going to see a lot of stuff. I think we'll also see a lot of anti-air ground. We'll see
Yeah.
some
Oh, that
like,
would be cool.
some
Yeah.
like SAM/anti-aircraft like
Yep.
vehicles which are specifically designed
Especially
to,
after you saw that ship in ATV strafe from the ground, like
Yeah.
I'm like, man, people are gonna get jacked up on the
Yeah,
surface.
like, if you
Anti-air.
had just like something with like a rapid fire size 3,
Mhm.
right? But it was just like locked to a ground, like
Yeah.
here's it like, hey, this thing is fully electric, but the power plant to output like the size 3 laser, it needs to stop moving and like
Yeah.
plant itself in the ground or something,
Yeah.
you know? And then it just revs up this fucking Gatling like size 3 to just drive shit away.
Yeah.
I would be on board with that, you know. That'd be pretty
Yeah.
fucking cool.
Or
Yeah.
we could take Paul's idea of pickup trucks and do more of an ISIS model where it's just a big effing gun in the back of a cheap ass pickup truck and
Yeah.
you can just drive around and try to
Yeah.
shoot shit.
That's
But-
like what was the
that's
mantises? Like
but it's
put a mantis
basically
in the back of a
like
pickup
the
truck?
dragonfly.
Well, the Dragonfly has size 1 weapons, but it's not gonna Dragonfly's not gonna stop a.
I don't think it's gonna stop a spaceship straight from the ground.
It's not,
Yeah.
a Dragonfly won't stop an Aurora. All right, an Aurora would rip the fuck out of a
But-
Dragonfly.
Yeah.
You know?
1,000 dragonflies will stop it.
Well, unless you have a dude on the back with a shoulder-mounted railgun.
Yeah, but the railguns
It's true.
themselves aren't going to be like super OP. They're going to be like a size 1 weapon that like sort of damages shields. You need something that can have lots of firepower, or at least
Well, that's
scare
still
a ship before
conjecture.
it gets there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the idea is that like, hey, there's a landed ship over there. I have this thing. I can like fuck with that thing. I can actually destroy it.
What about a
That's what
ground base EMP? That'd be hilarious. The ship comes down to strafe. Oh,
Like
you're
a-
crashing now,
That'd
bro.
actually be a really interesting idea
That'd
if
be
you have
cool.
if you have that
Like
that
an
truck
EMP
idea.
net or something.
about a
like,
target?
Yeah,
a
yeah,
target, like
yeah.
a
If you
certain-
come
No,
to
no,
this
or
area,
just-
it hits you, and
Just
then it
the
just disables
warlock,
the ship.
the warlock EMP. Put that shit in the
Yeah.
back of a truck and just activate it as something gets close.
Yep.
You just have this bubble pops up, and suddenly all of your engines cut out, and you just crash to the ground. Such
Oh,
a
that'd be
cool
cool, dude.
weapon. You know?
Targeted with the 1,000-meter range, only deployable land-based. Boom. Fire an EMP directly at that.
Yeah,
The pilot
it's
chance
like
to
a
survive
it's like
still
EMP
turns into a
beam.
ground
Like
bomb.
Chris Roberts
Yeah.
doesn't like damaging beam weapons, but I need my beam weapons somehow. CIG. if they have to be like the crowd control EMP beams, I'll live with it. Okay.
So
Yeah.
the next question comes from Agent 1213, who asks, Dolvac, why are you never on the Relay podcast?
Time schedule stuff, really. That's about it. Like, I'm actually gonna be streaming with Relay all day long tomorrow. Accompanied by Mr. Paul Shelley here, because we're gonna be streaming E3, and I'm gonna make a comeback at some point.
Is that
I'm
is
just,
that today or tomorrow? Or is it just tomorrow? It's tomorrow, right? It's just tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow,
Yeah. Tomorrow.
yeah. Today was just EA, and then tomorrow is Microsoft Bethesda, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely. I
Um,
definitely want to be at Bethesda. So, but we'll see, because I have to. I also have to. I have my VR headset now, so I've got to do crew with Texas Skulls.
Pantsless.
You know,
Pantsless in the Enterprise.
Yeah, Starfleet pantsless.
So basically, it's just time scheduling stuff right now. I
So-
will be making my grand return at some point.
How can you be a red shirt if you don't have wear any pants?
You can.
Well, it just says red
You can have a
shirt. It doesn't
Yeah,
Yeah,
say
it
anything.
doesn't say red
Right.
pants.
Yeah.
Below the belt doesn't matter, man.
Right.
Look,
Sir, Europe.
Wait,
Starfleet
but
Academy is very progressive.
didn't we
okay?
didn't we say no shots below the belt? But I just said below the belt doesn't matter.
All right,
Starfleet
so
Academy was very progressive. With
I'm
very,
gonna
with
step
very
away
strange
and
ideas that
I'm gonna
people
step.
had.
I'm gonna step away and use the restroom real quickly, but I want to get the next question out. Jumpy asks, server player count. What do you think we will get? More players and ships, i.e., 2 Aegises be able to battle each other, etc. When do you think it's going to happen? In the meantime, I'll be right back.
4-0.
Well, technically, we have the player count to make that happen right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
you
not
know,
supported in an instance.
Yeah. It's like that kind of stuff will happen as soon as we have like the network bind / unbind stuff. As long as when we start getting the specific instancing and like, but when that's going to happen, who knows?
Yeah, if you mentioned anything to do with Idris Javelin, we won't see those until after Squadron 42, the first episode, because they don't want to really show that stuff off to the masses or what's in them until you first experience, Squadron 42. I that's my opinion, and I would really hopefully they would do that because I don't want anything spoiled about it.
I thought they actually said something specific about it at some point, didn't they? Didn't they address that at some point and say that if the Idris was ready before Squadron 42, they would release it, or they said the opposite of that? They said one of the two, I think.
They've had definitely mentioned that before.
Yeah, if they do release it, it'll either be an Idris P or the non-UEE Idris, version of the one with the railgun.
I just don't think they want us to see it blow up yet, because we've seen it destroyed, kind of. We've seen all that. I think they want to save that, like what Clifford's saying for Squadron 42. I think they want to see
even
the grand epic experience.
Yeah,
you go through the story and it's like, wow.
Even the railgun firing, we haven't really seen it, fully fire.
They've showed us a lot of stuff, but they haven't showed us like the entire bounty of like everything provided in that. And I think that's intentional to some degree. But I also remember, and this has been over a year ago, they had already been test flying the Idris in the server, but they just can't get two in the server at once at that time, because if they did, it crashes the whole thing down.
Mm-hmm. So, and then there's the other thing where like we know we know the Idris is far along or complete maybe, because like they're talking about the other day how they're literally recycling like aspects of the Idris for the Reclaimer. Like they're like, hey, we're just recycling these assets.
But it makes no sense to have it in game till you have the people to man it, and you can have two stable in game, because otherwise you have one Idris and then nobody can kill it. Like, what are you going to bring? Starfarers against?
They've also got they've also got a couple other issues with it. I think I still don't think that they have down the allowing another ship to fly in and then land properly. They're trying to do that with some autopilot stuff, right? I don't think that system is complete yet. And I think that the power in the Idris is having all these different stations and delegating tasks, right? And I don't think that truly comes until they've got a fully integrated item system 2.0 environment, right? Otherwise, it's just like flying a Connie, except it's bigger. So I think that there's other systems.
Well, it's actually not, because they've mentioned like multiple times that things like the Bengal, Idris, Javelin are not going to be flown like a standard ship. It's going to be more of like a go forward, go back.
But what I meant,
plot course and stuff.
But what I meant is though that they don't have like the new like power management interface, so you can't have your like dedicated engineer for the Idris, right? Until item system 2.0 and things like that. So there's still systems.
And
the need to go in place first.
And the NPC logic and stuff too, because they'll be controlling that stuff.
The control stations where you can actually interface all those things, tested multi-crew in the smaller ships before we even worry about them in that, because otherwise you have an Idris flown by one person and a bunch of people hanging around like we do right now.
I think we would see an Idris in a Arena Commander capture the Idris mode first before we would ever see it in a PU.
That's a great point.
There was one thing before we move on that someone mentioned in chat. It was that we were talking about E3 a second ago, that Bethesda is allegedly going to show off a space game.
There's a couple of different rumors. One, there was a space game rumored to be called Pioneer, which was teased through the Watch Dogs 2 trailer. In Watch Dogs 2.
Starfield is the thing.
I knew you were going to bring that.
That Ubisoft was going to be supposedly making, and then the other one is Starfield, which is actually a long line. Bethesda has been trying to make a space game since Fallout New Vegas.
Nobody knows what Starfield is, though. That's the thing. It's like I've seen guys on YouTube have like whole YouTube videos, and they go, and I don't really know what it is, but hopefully it's better than Skyrim and blah blah. I'm like, why am I watching this video for 5 minutes when you don't even know what it is?
There's literally no information.
There's no information.
However, there have been information leaks about the other space games that they tried to make with what was it, with Obsidian? They tried to make they tried to make a Skyrim, their typical RPG style. They had a Star
Trek IP for a while, and they never did anything with it, and it just went away.
So this might have been something where it's like, hey, we tried to make this game with Star Trek IP, and we lost Star Trek IP, and now it's like, Now we've kind of like branched this into its own thing.
Yeah, now we have to do our
I
own
think they
kind of
just
thing.
want to get into the space genre
No, they
because
do.
they know it's hot. and
But I mean,
they're
think
trying
about
to figure
this.
it
And
out.
think about this. Prey is such a fucking test balloon for that too. Prey was such a fucking test balloon because Prey didn't have to be set in space, but they set it in space. Why?
Yeah.
Because they wanted to see how well the sci-fi genre sold.
Because
But
Dead
Space
Space
games
is
are
awesome.
coming back, man. They're
They
getting
had.
big.
Yeah,
I would
and,
say they're coming back. I'd say they're back.
and I think relating to Star Citizen, it's a good thing because more competition hopefully lights a fire under CIG's butt and realize that they have to start pushing shit out quickly, and they no longer. So far, they've been they have kind of a lax, like the management, I should say, not necessarily the development, but like management's like, well, we don't really have any competition. There's nobody out there trying to make a game like this, or even close to something like Squadron 42. And all the games that have tried, No Man's Sky, Call of Duty: Infinite Warfare, have either been meh or terrible, like utter
Not even
failures.
close.
Yeah.
Not even the same wheelhouse. So
Yeah.
I highly doubt I'll see anything from E3 that's going to make me go, oh, that's the
I'll be I
Star
wouldn't be
Citizen competitive.
I wouldn't be surprised if anyone was to do something that would be not necessarily Star Citizen, but like to rival Squadron 42, it'd be Bethesda. They have the chops.
Maybe
and
something to try to compete against Squadron 42. But anything that's ever going to compete against Star Citizen, I truly believe will be something founded on Kickstarter or something else. It's going to be a concept project that's backed, and they're going to try to come right at them like that. I just don't see like one major game company because they're fucking clueless still.
Mhm.
Look what they did to Mass Effect. They ruined it.
I'm
mean,
actually
it's
good.
just
I'm
like-
actually going to disagree with you here. I'm actually
I
going to
just
disagree
think
with
this
you
is
here
terrible.
because what happened when World of Warcraft? If Star Citizen comes out and it's massively successful, the same thing that happened with World of Warcraft is going to happen. Where it's like, hey, this thing came out and it went fucking crazy and blew the fuck up, and now everyone and their mother is like, hey, I have $2 billion. I'm going to throw at this company, and you make that game for me, please. And that's what's going to happen again. And that's just
Yeah, but I'm saying it's
money
not
at people
going to
think,
come from
clone
EA.
that.
It's not going to come from Ubisoft. It's
It
not. Gonna,
might. Bungie, where for like Destiny, where they're like, hey, here's like $500 million, just go fucking crazy. And that's like unheard of,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
they do that shit regularly, and Destiny wasn't even to that scale, and they're just like have so much fucking money. It's just like they do that shit crazy. Like if someone with a
But you-
track
what-
record,
what's
if
I-
Star
I
Citizen
don't-
takes
I don't
off,
feel
if someone
like-
with a track record comes along,
I don't
could
feel like
definitely see that.
Destiny's like that revolutionary though. Yeah,
it's not.
it was
That's the
popular.
point. The point is that they're willing to throw money.
I think they'll throw money at everything, but I don't think it'll
Like,
even come
big
close to
concept.
what they're doing here. I just
Yeah.
don't. I don't think they have the internal corporate mentality to understand what happens on a smaller company
No,
scale.
they absolutely don't. But there's one thing they do understand is success.
Yeah, I think
Right.
the only company right now currently that could compete with Star Citizen is somebody with, like you said, a lot of money, went to Elite and say, hey, I want y'all to get all the features because you already have a good skeleton of a game here, but I want some more of that first person experience. Here's $1 billion. Go with it.
Mhm.
Do it. And they I think that studio of anybody else's studio, no space, no sci-fi enough.
Yeah, they're the
that they could-
closest.
yeah, they're the closest ones I think could build a decent. Yeah, it's still a decent game now, but one that would, if you want to really mirror somebody, I think
Yeah.
they would be the only company that could probably do it.
I also say
Yeah.
don't underestimate the amount of money and time that Valve, Bethesda, and
Yeah.
game companies like that are willing to do because and Ubisoft may not be able to do something like that. They may come close, and Activision may do something similar, but like Blizzard does the long game. Like if they were going to be developing, like I was wondering if they were making a World of StarCraft MMO, since they poached a lot of CIG developers from the early development days. It's like, why were you poaching people specifically because they ended up working for World of Warcraft. My theory was that they may be also being brought on to advising for a space game MMO,
I
and the
don't
only
think-
space game
I
MMO that I
actually
can think of that they would do would be something off of StarCraft, because
I don't
just
think
finished
we're going to
StarCraft.
see Blizzard make another MMO for a long period of time because it's simply like not viable for them when they can make these small little like mini incubators with
Yeah.
like like Hearthstone, and it can work out so fucking well for them. Like
Overwatch. I mean, they're doing
the thing is,
great.
their
with
cash
the
cow
little stuff.
now. Their cash cow isn't World of Warcraft anymore, and that's kind of crazy because it's still making.
I know.
Yeah.
It is.
But it's like the idea that like that's not their main fucking source of revenue anymore. It's not World of Warcraft, even though it still has like 8-9 million subscribers these days. I don't really know. It capped out really high with when Legion came out, but it's like, hey, we can just like we can just dump a decent amount of money at this like small idea, and we could like do the Blizzard polish thing to it and push it out the door, and it's fine. And like with the lack of success that they had with Titan, and then it turned it into a much smaller scale game like Overwatch and pushed that thing out the door, and it went over so
Making
well with
so
everyone.
much money off that.
There's
Yeah.
like, why would we ever do that ever again? Why would we do this?
Yeah,
Well,
it
it's
makes
because
fiscal sense to them.
Blizzard to a degree, and Valve and those kind of guys do allow their employees to do a little bit more experimenting on the side and encourage that kind of stuff, as far as I understand. I know Valve is much more that kind of way than say Blizzard,
Yep.
but that's the kind of mentality. So if it's going to come out, it'll come out of someone. Maybe Bethesda.
Didn't
but I don't
Valve
know.
make like just open
They-
up their whole weird like Second Life home thing like with Vive the
I
other
don't know.
day?
They might have. They
They had like a Vive
Yeah.
home thing.
they did
where
have
it was like you could make like your own home space, and it was like built into like the Vive like set like software set.
there was a leak for a VR game based on spaceships that was supposedly being made for Vive at one point. That was they just made out the cockpit and like the animations of getting into a cockpit and playing around with it.
Yeah, but I'm actually talking about like a social space thing that actually exists. Like I think they released it like this week, like Valve did. It's like you can like construct your own social space in VR, but it's like there's like a million of those. There's a million of those like social space VR things now, but this is actually one that like that they had produced and like put out or something.
I still
might be
have.
crazy.
I don't know. I mean, still looking at Star Citizen, for any studio, big or small, to come and try and mimic what they're doing, or even close to that, that's still a huge development ask, because a lot of what Star Citizen does isn't just things that are readily available, right? Like Overwatch isn't some crazy revolutionary development, right?
Mhm.
It's just kind of they just took sort of an FPS mechanic and a little bit of a MOBA mechanic and kind of mashed them together, right? Star Citizen is doing so much that's different. Not that it's not reproducible. It by all means is, especially with enough money and an experienced dev team. But that's a lot of commitment just to come into a marketplace that if Star Citizen's already succeeding in, you're now having to compete against that giant that already exists.
That's
And I
yeah.
also
a big
think
ask.
most-
Which didn't stop people with World of Warcraft at all.
It's not going to stop people. No.
No.
But it's a big ask, and they're not.
I just think a lot of big companies with some of their failures, like you pointed out with Project Titan and stuff like that with them, most executives on the company, even if there's a bunch of junior executives and other game producers and production companies that might want to do it, most big executives in the top 3 or 4 game companies are going to go, let's see what the fuck Star Citizen is before we try to copy it. Let's see what it actually does, because they don't know. We haven't even got the game yet. Once it drops, it'll explode with all these little mimic differences and stuff and all this other stuff.
I think
But
the one thing
wait till
they'll be eyeballing Squadron 42 before they even eyeball
And I
Star
agree with
Citizen.
that. I would that'll get copied long before the
And
MMO.
I will be
Yes.
happy man if Squadron 42 kicks off another revolution of
I would love
copycats.
that.
Because holy fuck, the Wing Commander concept is a good concept that has been gone for too long. And like that, I love the idea.
We're getting a few like straight up Wing Commander clones, like the thing that the Rebel Galaxy people are making. That's like it's straight up like a Wing Commander / Privateer like clone thing. And I'm
that
on board
looks
with it 'cause
cool.
it looks fantastic.
Alrighty, so the next question comes from
What was the original question anyway
the
for
original
this one?
question
I don't
was
even remember anymore.
it was server player count. Talking about like that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, we get off on that kind of stuff. Next question is from Technowolf. It's kind of a question
48 is no answer.
we've already answered, which is Technowolf asks, "What if the knifing mechanic worked like it did in Battlefield 3 or 4?" Which is, I guess, kind of okay, where you could knife somebody, but you could also miss.
Counter, like
Yeah.
you have to counter Or, yeah.
We also have
No,
Yes, we need counters.
You can escape it.
No
Yeah.
counters.
You're not
If
locked
you played
in
Battlefield
yet.
4, you know you hate fucking counters. Don't do
I
it.
haven't played Battlefield
That's
anything.
why you want counters. I guarantee it. Go play Battlefield 4.
Counters are
I
pretty
want
bad, 'cause it's
counters
you go knife
done
someone,
right.
and then you get knifed and you don't.
I
get
don't want
refunded.
counters
The
done
problem was with
shitty
counters-
Battlefield
with
4
counters
style.
in it is all it is timing, and then it's always the person who counters wins every
Yeah.
time. That's the problem with counters. It becomes
But then
automatic.
you need a counter against the counter, which Battlefield
Well,
4
Well,
doesn't.
there you go.
Doesn't
Then
have
you're
to be
locked
a
at
counter,
animation where
it
it looks
can
like
be
you're
a-
playing fucking
You're just
Chains
playing
against the
boss
guy.
back and forth.
What about a defense, not a counter, where all of a sudden you
Yeah,
move them
exactly.
and then stab them?
The
It's a
personal shield.
Oh my
I
God,
just,
no.
I
that.
just think,
Get outta
I
here.
think the best
No,
defense
wrong.
is
Died.
for the knifing only, not for sniping like what Sherman was talking about or anything. The best defense to it is it only is a one-shot kill if you don't see it coming. Otherwise, it is not. It's going to take part of your health or something if somebody stabs you, but you're not going to get a one-shot from coming at them at the front.
Yeah.
So I.
But
think
how does the game? How does the game know when you see it coming or not?
This game knows everything.
That is true.
It just knows.
Yeah.
You,
just
you are
knows.
when you make an account, you are assigned a GM who watches you, and they have a button that says it's a red button that
There's
says
gonna be-
knife. on
Yeah.
it.
I would
At
base
this
it
point,
on
there is
camera
1.8 million
One-to-one
GMs.
to players.
To be
And then,
serious, though,
if
I
you
would
sneak
base
up
it
on
on
someone,
camera
you
angle.
hit them,
If they're in,
like,
if they're
that
in
was
the
a good one.
front,
They smashed the knife button.
yeah, if they're in the front 180 viewpoint here, the 180 degrees, then it's like it's not a one-shot kill. If they're like flanking from the side, behind you, or directly behind you, then it would be.
Once again,
Here's the
but
big.
this sounds like Dark
here's-
Souls, where people are just gonna be
Yeah,
circle
but here's the
streets
thing,
and
the
just trying
biggest-
to flat stab.
The
I don't
biggest
want it.
issue, the biggest issue with knifing and like the assassination animations has to do with how does death work in Star Citizen. If it still works the
Yeah.
way that Death of a
Yeah.
Death of a Spaceman works, that would be a terrible idea because you only have a certain number of lives until you're just fucking dead, which is kind of bad.
Yeah.
And in MMO, people are vain. People collect shit to be vain, and
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and if you lose your vain shit because you got stabbed in the back because you were you like turned and looked the wrong way, or because some glitch happened where the guy lagged behind you and you didn't see them, you will be pissed and people will
Yeah.
rage quit because of that.
Well,
That's
the best counter to that to me would be it takes 2 seconds to initiate it. It can't be an instantaneous, like I can just run behind you like what Dovak's worried about and just go pop and hit him. It's like I have to be there, set, go through it, then I grab him. And the animation might look quick at the end, but it's a whole 2-second setup.
Mhm.
So if you're dancing around like an idiot, I'm gonna have time to just keep facing you and get my gun out and just shoot you in the face. And
Yeah.
just, like that was dumb.
If it's a long animation, though, what happens when you miss and you like walk next to them with the knife like creeping by? Because like, what the fuck are you doing, man? It's
Yeah, what's all that? Get off me.
well, the
Guys,
idea is it needs to have a good proper risk reward. It needs to be risky,
Yeah.
but high
Well,
payoff.
being silent and quiet is the only reward I can see out of that because
Yeah.
you're not trying to alert everybody. But-
Just snipe him
You
from
know-
1 kilometer away.
well, if you're trying to sneak
Paul-
on a ship and take out the sentries, that would work if you're on a team. And I promote multi-crew, so I like the sniping idea if you have buddies.
Mhm.
By
Paul
yourself,
mentioned
probably
something earlier. I'm sorry. Paul mentioned something earlier, guys, and he said, you know, when we were talking about other games and potential mimics in the industry, and he said, I hope that, you know, other things come out and it lights a fire under CIG's butt, right? Paul, I think those are your words, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. CIG actually deployed a website dedicated to showing off the fire, especially underneath underscores
Oh
butt.
God. Underscore sput.
Just saying. Just throwing that out there.
Sput.com.
Just throwing that out there. Anyways, moving right
Underscore's
along.
gonna
So
hate
sorry to
you.
have to
Oh
interrupt.
God. All right. Sorry, Bryce.
Anyways,
Did
moving
you?
along.
Did you?
Next question comes from.
question, yeah.
Why did I? Did you actually register that domain just for that?
No,
I've had it
he's
for a
had
couple
it for
months.
a while.
Yeah.
Oh.
He also has paulshelmet.com and pubga.com. Has a couple other ones too.
Tex.
I'm sorry.
Oh man, you are going to regret meeting me in
There's this
September.
special place in hell
October.
for me.
Reminds me of South Park. It's like, how do you kill that has no life?
The next question comes from Whataburger, who asks, "Are you drunk yet? I taste better that way." Thank
Yes.
you, Whataburger. Then the next question comes from Dad. He asks, "Son."
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No.
I wonder how many people I just rickrolled. I love it. I'm sorry.
Mayonnaise.
I apologize.
Mene015 asks, if you could reenact any space or any science fiction space battle in Star Citizen, what battle would you reenact and what ships would you use?
Oh, can I go first?
Go for it.
The Starfleet versus Dominion battle in Deep Space Nine. All the ships.
Which one? Which one? When they're invading Cardassia or when they're taking back Deep Space Nine?
Taking back Deep Space Nine.
Okay. I would say the battle at the end of Rogue One for Star Wars, with like the fighters going down and attacking the shield and shit.
So
That's
what?
pretty fun, yeah.
So what is that? That's going to be a bunch of Polarises, and then it's going to be a bunch of what do you use? What would you use for TIE fighters? Polarises kind of look like Star Destroyers. Polarises kind of look like Star Destroyers.
Maybe the no, because the X-wings would be Buccaneers.
Yeah,
So,
Buccaneers, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And for the big rebel ships, they'd have to be the kind of like the Bonnie merchantmen, but
Yeah.
you paint them like white and blue.
Yeah.
Say TIE fighters could be the Cartuoff scouts, but they're a little too OP for scouts.
You could use
Yeah.
Gladiuses.
Yeah.
Gladiuses could be the TIE fighters. They're fast.
No.
and
No, you need some of that vertical style. to it.
Reliant, because like shit moves on it.
Maybe.
I don't. Like,
Maybe
It
Reliant.
doesn't really work, but it does.
Cartuals.
there is
Yeah,
no
that's why I was
TIE.
like, Cartuals is probably
Yeah.
the closest
There
thing I
is-
can think of.
There is no TIE or TIE interceptor like.
Yeah.
Or TIE
analog to Star
bomber.
Citizen yet.
God,
Or
I
TIE
hope they
bomber.
make a ship that makes that annoying fucking TIE fighter sound.
That
Every
that
time
is-
you
The
drive
dog
by-
video. Where's the dog video at?
that is actually a canned scream. It's not the Wilhelm scream. It's something else. I can't remember it.
Mixture,
because-
isn't it a
Dude, I
mixture
would
of the
find somebody
actual
trying
like?
to sleep with their Starfarer and just fly around it in
what was the
circles.
dive bomb? What was the German dogfighter? The dive bomber in World War II?
Messerschmitt A110. No,
I can't remember.
it was a Messerschmitt.
Yeah.
It was a Messerschmitt something.
It was the Messerschmitt dive bomber that would that had
Yeah.
that like sound. I think it was like that combined with something else.
No, it was
Stuka,
actually
the Stuka dive bomber. Yeah.
yeah, the Stuka, yeah, but it actually is a canned Hollywood scream. It's everybody knows the Wilhelm scream, but this was, oh God,
No, you need to watch the YouTube video. Gerald, you
Exit-
love Star Wars.
exit full screen.
All right, so we've got me and Jarge. Does anybody else have their own sci-fi battle they'd love to reenact?
I
in?
do.
What would it be?
Battlestar Galactica, the beginning of the series when they're outrunning the Cylons, but the Cylons keep chasing after them every single jump, and they have to jump. And this is like my sadistic way of thinking. I'm gonna have a spy in someone's camp, and they're gonna be running. They're gonna like jump away and think that they're safe. No, they're not. I'm gonna find them because my spy is telling you where they are, and I'm gonna jump, and then they're gonna have to jump again. And it's going to be in this ongoing thing for hours where they keep thinking that they can get away, but it's fucking worthless and futile.
See,
You
the
will
only
die.
real reason why
Sorry.
I wanted to
Wow.
I wanted that battle at the
I
end
just
of
blacked out.
Where am I?
Sorry.
Who are you
whoa,
people?
What happened?
the only reason
What just happened?
The only reason why I want that battle at the end of Rogue One is because I want the test squadron moment there where the Hammerhead knocks into the disabled Star Destroyer and smashes it into the other Star Destroyer, which smashes it into the
It
ship.
has to take place. It has to take place at the edge of an Iranian commander match.
I love it that Paul's bot just wrecked Matt Sherman.
Did it wreck
Right.
Max Sherman?
Yeah, because he was
Did we
actually
get permission for Matt Sherman, by the way?
yeah, he was actually helping me out. It's called
He's
the
got a
Howie
link
Howie
for this-
scream.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the Howie scream, and if you listen to it, you will hear exactly the TIE fighter flyby sound. And that is-
that's really loud, by the way. Turn that down before you click on that link.
I'm not
Ow.
clicking on it. I've learned I don't go to a podcast with Texas Skulls and click on shit.
Hey, no, Matt Sherman linked it. That was not my link.
That's
Yeah.
true.
No,
That's
but
true.
I just don't trust it. You might be impersonating him somehow.
It's slightly distorted, and
They
they
cut
only
that.
used a part of it, but it is it's always been the Howie scream.
I don't know if we have any
Nothing
odds.
about
I can't think of it right
elephants
now, but-
and cars driving by. Fuck that shit. It's that scream.
He should be back. It just takes a minute. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
give
He's
him
alive.
give him a permit.
Yeah, he's
so
back,
that
he's
I do
back,
their comment
yeah.
clock.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's alive. He's alive.
Yeah.
Just mod him. Just mod him.
I'm not
Paul.
modding. I don't mod
Don't do that.
CIG because
It's a bad idea.
I always I just my rule of thumb. Like ever since underscore became a CIG member, I just don't trust them. They're just
You think Paul streams get delayed now? You just wait.
yeah.
Oh,
Jesus. Oh, low blow.
That's bad.
That was good,
That's
though. I
fire.
like that one.
Next question comes from. Oh wait, we still have two more, or we have three more. Do you guys have any,
Oh,
any
cool.
other ones you'd want to do? Clifford.
Oh yeah,
Dolvac,
battles.
Oh no, I know nothing I can think of off the top of my head.
Dolvac?
I'm sorry?
Any if you could reenact any space battle from sci-fi science fiction in Star Citizen, what would it be?
All right. Okay, I'm gonna nerd the
Here it
fuck out
comes.
here for a
Here it
moment.
comes.
For a
Here it
period
comes.
of time. There's an old, like late '80s anime called Legends of the Galactic Heroes,
Oh, I love
Another-
that.
where everyone fights in a semicircle. And you have millions of ships in the semicircle, and then they go. One semicircle goes this way, and the other one goes back that way. And then the semicircle comes back this way, and you go back that way. And then there's a lot of like political intrigue and dialogue, and then someone retreats, and that's basically what happens.
Yeah, it's called Legend of the Galactic
Someone
Heroes.
drinks liquor, and that's what happens.
It's called what is it called? God damn! It's in America. It got a different name. It's not called
No,
Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
No,
it's
it's Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
is it?
Yeah,
That's the one with like the bird mask
that
and stuff
is-
like that. You know.
it's like it's in Japanese,
Yeah.
but like the Americanized version of it is Legend of the Galactic Heroes. There's no official translation of it, so you kind of have to go do a little bit of digging in some weird places because you literally cannot buy it in English. But there are ways.
How about you, Matachi?
For me, I'll go a different take instead of the big epic space battle. I want, after seeing the nebulas and the space dust and all that stuff from HEV, I want the Raft of Khan.
Yeah.
Where I can sit there and
The
like
submarine
hide into the
battle.
nebula
Yeah.
and I'm damaged after a big firefight and he's looking for me and I just come out decloaked mode because you can like now kind of
Yep.
stealth your ship out,
Mhm.
just float out behind him and light him up. Just be like, yeah, gotcha. That's what I want.
Or the nebula reminds me of that scene from Serenity where you got the Alliance fleet waiting inside that
Yeah,
the planet, and you got the Reapers coming and
The
just,
Reavers
the
coming
guy
in,
just
it's
goes,
like, yep.
somebody
pretty funny.
fire!
Yeah.
Son, fire! Shoot all of them! Shoot everything! Yeah, that was so good.
Fires the weapons.
That was really
All right. So the next question.
Hang
comes-
on, Paul. If you don't mind, just briefly, I renege on my answer, and instead I would reenact Wing Commander the movie, the big battle near the
Oh,
end of it.
Give him a
No.
Against the
broadside.
kill
Yeah.
rail.
Yeah. I love that broadside. That broadside with the
No.
torpedoes is just, I don't know.
I will
so
reenact
sexy.
that. Sorry.
Yeah, and Sherman's right. I kind of misspoke. I said like stealth was a button, but it's a threshold. You have to take
Yeah.
your systems to a little bar that shows you're within the parameters of
Yes.
being more stealthy.
Yes.
Yes.
Good call.
All right. So the next question comes from Chubby Defender, who asks, on the topic of death, how likely do you think people will want to kill someone?
About 7.
I mean,
Wait.
like in game, like how likely would people be killing each other?
I think it's half and half. I think it's going to be 50-50, depending on the situation.
Mhm.
And there's gonna be trolls that just wanna mess with you, and then
Yeah, I mean, some people will come out and try to kill you, but
It
the
depends
answer,
on repercussions and stuff, though. Is really
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
influence that.
yeah.
at the end of the day, if you run away, and if my job is if I'm a fighter pilot and my job is to disable you or defend a cargo thing, and you run away, it sucks that you run away because I can't just defeat you and prevent you from coming back. But
Mhm.
if you run away, my job is to stay with the cargoes and protect them as long as possible. And I know that for some fighter pilots, some of the competitive guys I've talked to just get really salty about that idea. It's like that's how World War II worked. Like fighter pilots would
Yeah,
Pilots
you
destroying
maintain the
bombers.
objective more than the kill.
yeah, you would
Mhm.
scare away the pilots, the other fighters, if they don't get your objective, and then you
Yeah.
stay with your objective, and then they may come back at you. But the idea is
It's-
to prevent them from attacking, not necessarily from going for the kill. So
But I think going for kills is going to happen a lot, especially as being an FPS player. I am an objective-based player. I want to do the objective, but you know, there's
sometimes you want that
people
kill.
that go off the reservation, and they're just going to go stupid. And the
Look at PUBG.
tactics with that is you bait those people into a trap, and then you kill them. So it's like,
Yeah.
Well, look at
both ways.
PUBG. People will kill themselves in PUBG just so they can get
Yeah,
a kill.
they'll stand
Yep.
behind a wall knowing they're going to die, so they can snipe you because you
Eat the
irritate
blue.
them so
Yeah,
much.
they'll eat
Yep.
the blue.
Yeah,
the
but
blue.
because PUBG,
Yeah.
apart from actually losing the round, there is no penalty.
Yeah,
Well,
That's
the
why you need a
purpose is to
big
kill
penalty. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there's a reward
Yeah.
to it. Like the only reward in Battlegrounds, the only reward is killing people.
It's chicken
That's-
dinner.
That's a long time.
No, it's about seeing how far you can go because you only get 10 points for a kill.
The other.
But if
You
you
only
if you
get
can't
10
win,
points for a kill.
yeah, but still, it's more points
What-
than.
This is what people see in PUBG though. They say, okay, I'm already fucked. I can't win, so I'm gonna take you down with me. I
Yeah,
think
because
that's kind of
there's
that
only
mentality.
That
objectives in that
mentality, I
game.
think, will
Kill
translate
people and
through
live.
many games.
Yeah, it will, and I think that'll happen in Star Citizen too. I think
But
that
if I'm
when they
if
see-
I'm with my org and we're trying to transport something in Star Citizen and
whole
it's
different story.
like 20 million UEC and I go off the reservation, I'd probably have to worry about my own org shooting me too. Because you know,
Whole
it's
different
like, I
story.
really want to get this kill, guys. I'm like, I don't care. We got to protect the cargo. Well,
Yeah.
it's, you know,
Yeah.
it just depends on who you're with and what type of circles you're running.
The
where-
context of what you're doing, like you said,
$100%.
if you're transporting cargo, you're not worried about killing them. You're worried about getting them the fuck out of there so that
Yeah.
you can continue doing your job.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
it's all about context. I think.
So the next question comes from Thready, who asks Squadron 42 ETA guesses, and just be brief because the answer for me is not 2017,
Spring
know when,
2018.
but 28.
Spring 2018.
Hopefully it's 2018, but no idea. Not 2017.
Paul,
Darsh.
just because. of
Yeah,
the
we
thing
have this bet.
have-
I said.
We
I
have the
said
bet.
I
I'm
can't-
gonna say 31st December 2017.
Okay. Yeah, me and Darsh have a bet where if it comes out in 2017, I owe him. Was it nice beer? And if
Like a bunch of nice beer, but if it's not the same, the equal amount or monetary amount of good scotch.
Good scotch. So I get good scotch. Yeah.
The
I
thing
will
is,
bet anything.
I've been saying this for like over a year now. Like I remember like not this past CitizenCon, but CitizenCon 2015 when they were like really kind of like starting to push out some of their promotional materials. That's where we got like the Gary Oldman speech and stuff like that. I was the crazy one because I'm like, I don't think it's anytime soon, guys. They were like, why would they be pushing out my promotional materials, Dolak? I'm like, it's not feeling it, man. And then a year went by, and I'm like, still not feeling it. And we all had a conversation that like at CitizenCon 2016, we're all like, okay, probably not coming out 2016. Like this we can all sense that in the room. We don't think it's gonna. We're probably feeling mid 2017. And now, hey, we are officially mid 2017. I'm feeling not 2017. And I remember distinctly having a conversation with a bunch of people at CitizenCon from just all over the place. And we're like, when do you think it's gonna come out? And we're like, probably 2017. But if it doesn't come out in 2017, I think CIG is gonna be in a lot of shit from the community. And we're like, oh yeah, they're gonna be in a lot of shit from the community. Well, guess what? I think that time has come, and I think it's not coming out in 2017. I would love to be proven wrong, but I don't think it's gonna happen. And there's gonna be a lot of shit.
I don't disagree. I think the big thing is more of communication. If they're like, hey, it's not coming out in 2017, but here's a demo of the first mission. Here's a like significant progress. See how much work we've been doing on it. That's
If it
what they
wasn't
have
coming out
to-
in 2017, I think we needed to know that yesterday.
Yeah.
No, I think
we're
there's
still in the first half of 2017, so
not by much.
not by much, but we still are.
Yeah.
No, what the fuck you mean
Yes.
4 days? It's 3 weeks.
No, This is the 6th month.
Yes, and
Well,
And we're,
Yeah, and
we
it's
are
the-
5 days away from halfway through that.
yeah,
So
but
in-
it's until the end of June that where the first 6 months ends.
Bullshit.
And if you want to count all the days that are off work, then whatever.
Do
We can
you
get
do you know
technical.
how days work? It's
You know
the
how
first
years
full
work?
6 months,
Okay.
and then
you
the
get 12
full
months. You get 12
Yes.
Well,
months.
you got
So-
you also got to put it in the contents of like, what about how they view it as their quarters? Like my quarter, my end of my year is usually in the middle of the year, but not at the end of June. It depends on the company how they view their quarters. Like, okay,
Yeah,
our
but
quarter might
we
start-
don't know, but we
Yeah.
don't know. So
Yeah,
we are only just assuming that the actual 6 months, and it's until the end of June,
Yeah.
where is the
It
first
actually
half
is-
of
it
the year.
actually- You know, if you have like they shut down and restart at the kind of the end of the year and the beginning of the year, it probably is something similar to that.
Here's the big question is less that will it make it 2017, and because they haven't done this, that they're not making it. The question is more, we haven't been seeing a lot of progress. Not that we haven't been seeing progress, we haven't been physically seeing the progress. We've been reading about it and been hearing about the updates.
They've been making progress. We just haven't seen some of that progress.
Yeah, and because we don't have a schedule report for Squadron 42 like we have with Star Citizen, it's much more of a guessing game in terms of what's going on. And that's
And I don't want to do guessing games.
exactly. And that's the problem is that I don't believe we're going to get in 2017 just because of what I've seen, and because I also know that Squadron 42 is going to be a big release for CIG, so they're going to want to advertise the fuck out of it.
Well,
And
what
we
I would
haven't
like
seen
to
that
see,
advertising push yet, which is you'd normally be seeing around June with all the other major games.
yeah,
being
at
announced
this
at
upcoming
33.
sitcon, what I would like to kind of see would be kind of cool if they actually do the same demo, but what it looks like now versus the original one that they showed. Walking around the ship talking to that guy. I would like to see that scene redone again. but
That'd
we
be
see
cool.
it-
Yeah.
that way they can show this is what it was, this is what it is now,
Yeah.
and then to end it. Just show us one of the big battles of the ships actually firing upon each other and shit. And,
Bengal
something like that.
versus Driller.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something that doesn't give too much away because you're not seeing the internals of the ship, but you're seeing the outside of them. That would really fire a lot of people up to see something like that.
I think I'm thinking spring 2018, but I think they're going to do some big teasers into the year. But I also think that they'll be more forgiven this year about it, because I think we will get the Delta patcher. I think we're going to get more content, and getting 3.0 this late in the year and maybe 3.1 will make us kind of forget about it. Last year we got all our content early on in the year,
And
and then we
nothing,
had
yeah.
to hang on to it all the way to December, and we programmed ourselves to think, oh, Squadron 42, here we go. And then when we didn't get that either, and they barely squeaked in Star Marine, it was like,
we did not program ourselves for that one. That was not us. There was a
we
date on the
helped with
website.
it, but they baited the hook on that.
That is CIG needs to take at least part of the responsibility, because they also have
They do.
they have a
There was
terrible
a number on the website for far too long.
and they do not
Yeah.
do a good job of managing expectations when it comes to the community.
Yeah.
And it comes across as looking, rightfully so,
Well-
like they're trying to
And I
hype.
think that's
they're
why
hype-
they're totally silent about Squadron 42 right now. I think that's why, because they kind of hinted and they did all this little
Which
stuff.
I really think is the wrong way to go about things. I think I don't think they've learned their lesson from the repetition of missing deadlines and then not talking about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
guys,
leaving
CIG, we're here. We're in it, man. We've put a lot of money in this. We put a lot of time in
I
this.
think the only
understand shit takes time. You just gotta fucking tell us, man. You gotta communicate.
the one instance that they did tell us was at CitizenCon when they showed the footage of why we didn't show Squadron 42. This is why, and they showed them because you could see the frustration on Chris's face when they're going through it. That's what they were going through, and at least that way they kind of showed you, hey, this is what the problems were. And that's why we didn't show you any new Squadron 42 footage, because it
Absolutely.
just
and that was a really good explanation. And then they fell immediately into the same trap with 3.0.
yeah.
Immediately, just
the-
immediately.
The problem is not necessarily best laid plans or anything of this. The problem is more. For instance, the reason why I'm more forgiving of CIG with a delay toward 3.0 than I am with Squadron 42, because they at least tell us, hey, it's being delayed. We're adding a hint system
we
for
see
new
it.
players. And we see it.
We
and
see it on their progress bar,
and
I
someone,
think that
someone's
should be
going to
telling
freak
them
out for
it's
the
good.
first day. People freaked out yesterday,
Yeah.
but then they're done. They get their freak out of the
Yeah.
way, and they're done, and no one, and then people comes in and go,
because we know how it
"Dude,
is.
it's never
And,
going to
like,
come
when we
out."
don't
It's like,
how
we know what it is.
Our
Whatever.
heads make it so much worse.
Yeah.
Like,
We make up so much worse shit, and the internet makes up so much worse shit when you don't have any details. And I
That's
think
why,
I think
why
at
don't
the-
they just do a progress bar for Squadron 42? I
They
think that
said
would
they were
resolve it.
supposed
Chris
to.
said he was going to.
There
Like,
is internally.
Like they said for it was like it was in like January, I think, when Chris was in it was Edge magazine. Which magazine?
I can't remember. One of the magazines.
Some article came out. It was an interview with Chris Roberts, and he's like, "Oh yeah, well, like I know it's been a little bit delayed, so that's why we're gonna get out a 3.0 schedule, and we're gonna get out and we're also gonna get out a Squadron 42 schedule." And then neither of those happened for like 3 months, and then one of them happened, and we have no idea what the second one's happening, if at all.
Yeah.
I could say something.
Go
That
ahead.
would make
Go ahead and
me,
say that, and then we'll move on because I
with
want to.
CIG, but I'm not. I'm just not going to. I'm gonna pass. It's just first off, like they kind of started their marketing.
Didn't you
push
say you're not
towards
going to?
Squadron 42? Yeah, shut up. They started their marketing push towards Squadron 42 back in 2016, right? They kind of like put
2015.
out that sort of
2015, yeah.
well,
As
no, but
recall.
in 2016 they kind of did this new website thing, and they put this big push out saying, coming soon, end of this year, Squadron 42.
Answer the
And
call.
they began it right very slowly, and that's fucking shit, right? Like, because it's not going to come out till 2018. If you think it's coming out this year, like release this year, it's just not going to happen. It just won't. Period. But regardless of that, they should have known that internally. So either they lied, they didn't. I don't think they lied. I think that they were just blinded. Honestly, I think they were blind to the fact that they couldn't push this game out in that amount of time. I think that
Which is consistently
goes all the way
consistently what happens. Like their
to the
expectations
top.
of how long things
Honestly.
will take are consistently wrong. And it's not like it's not malicious. It's just Chris Roberts on stage at SysCon being like,
Look at
"Oh,
our
it's gonna be
example.
out 2 months," and that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Look at our example. Chris Roberts met Aaron Roberts. They talked together, and Aaron Roberts and they looked at the UK model and said, "Holy shit, the UK studio is doing all this crazy, awesome shit, producing. Boom, boom, boom. LA is great, but they're not on the same level as that." And then Chris adopted Aaron's model of project management and all this and that, and then brought that over to the US, right? That was that big shuffle up at CIG. And at the end of the day, I think Chris is one of the greatest visionaries and lead guys that sits there and maintains and says, this is our vision. We're working towards that every day. But as far as deadlines and actually steering towards a definitive product and getting that done on a day-to-day basis, I don't think that's his role. And so I think that he was misled about when the fuck Squadron 42 is actually going to come out.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Because I know about like brotherly relationships. I think, is it possible that it's just Aaron doesn't want to tell Chris what he knows because he doesn't want to disappoint his brother?
Absolutely not. I don't think that's it.
I
at
don't
all.
think so.
Not
No?
even close.
No.
We're too professional.
Have you met him? Aaron is very much. He's going to tell you what's going to be told to your face. He's not a
Yeah,
bullshit
no,
kind of guy.
but there's still
I think Aaron jumps
meeting
around
a
trying to
person,
pull Chris
meeting
out
a
of the clouds
person.
all day
Yeah, no,
long.
but no, it's completely different than because
Yeah.
no.
If you look at what happens throughout both Aaron and Chris's career in video games, not at CIG, but in video games, period, what has normally happens is happened multiple times where Chris Roberts will start a project, be the visionary, be the foundation for years and years and years, and then
somebody else has to
leave,
finish it.
and then Aaron shows up and shaves off the bullshit and okay, this is what this actually is. And
Starlight
puts
But
it
you
out.
need both, though.
Yeah.
And I think Chris Roberts is one of the best at being that visionary. You need someone that
you can't have
not
one
just for
without the
himself,
other. You
but
can't have one without
throughout
the
the
other.
entire company maintains this is our vision. We are always working and moving towards that. But then you also, contrary to that, need the let's get shit done guy, and I think that's Aaron Roberts.
To just be like, all right, we need to actually do
This shit
things.
needs to get done.
And the thing is, you're saying we've always had this vision. I'm actually very interested. I actually once we're all said and done here, and we're like 2 or 3 years down the line, and we can sit someone down, we can actually talk to them about the development of Squadron 42, which is something that we really haven't seen the inside of. We've seen a lot of the inside of CRG, but we haven't seen the inside, the struggle, like shit with like the whole Ilphonic incident and like Star Marine, and like we've seen the missteps of Star Citizen. We have not seen the missteps of Squadron 42. I'll actually be very interested to see what's going on internally down the line once we're all said and done. What I actually think might be a big portion is procedural planets.
Oh, 100%.
We know that procedural, like there are missions that take place on procedural planets in Squadron 42.
100% what happened.
And it's like that wasn't a thing for like, so all their framework for some of these missions have to just go away.
100% of what happened was procedural planets became a thing. They actually wanted to use them in game. And the problem is that just delayed the shit they had to get done. And it means that the game's going to be a lot more interesting. It means the game's going to be a lot more expansive, which is good. I think
they delayed a ton of shit. Squadron 42 could have came out this year, but the changes with the planets and everything else, that added new content, new stuff, and then, hey guys, rewrite time. We need some more stuff done.
New reshooting
it's made everything pushed back.
Yeah,
that's why it won't be out there.
I think that the Squadron 42 that they were building in early 2014
is very different.
Could have come out at the end of 2016.
Yeah.
Yes.
Possible.
I still think that's kind of early, but it's possible.
Well, because the thing is that like the original idea that they had was they had 2014, and then even the 2014 was so big that they cut it into 3 parts. And part 1 was what we're going to be getting in 2016. And so with that cut down version of the thing that they created, it makes sense. They probably could have done that. But then they added all these features in, which then feature creep caused it to expand. But still, this is a whole long conversation about the ETA. But essentially, the point is that it's a complicated issue to say ETA. And I don't think any content creator or anybody who's been involved in this game for a long enough time will sit here and tell you definitively they know when Squadron 42 comes out. Because the answer is that they're all fucking what's the term?
Guessing.
Bones and blood or whatever, like where it's reading tea leaves. It's all reading tea leaves at this point. It's just our guess is as good as anybody else's at this point because we have no information. All right, so moving on to the next question. Agent 1213 asks, is the ship stats update for part of 3.0? I don't think so.
No,
I don't know.
Dude, that thing's not going to be. They're not going to update things.
It's a turbulent thing, right?
Man. They're never going to update that shit.
The ship updates, I think, is waiting until a midpoint until the item 2.0 system is in place, so we have all the cooling and everything in place.
Turbo is working on it. They just got it. They got right now. They're putting in a bunch of placeholders. They're already got the design and everything. It's just that they're having to put stars and asterisks here. We're going to put in that data once we have it.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, and they're waiting for the data, which will come from item 2.0, but not the initial.
The
How
problem
is the data coming from item 2.0?
Yeah, but the problem that we face is we get a new player in this game. We don't have a hint system. We're getting it now. We don't have any of that stuff. We don't have proper ship stats. We can't tell them a goddamn thing by just going to the website. It's a mess. They're trying to fix it. They need to not wait for other data. They need to put out what they got so they can show new players where we're at right now. Just fucking asterisk it out, exit out, saying to be determined, whatever. Yeah, that way at least people can come in and see something.
It means they have to hire someone to actually manage that data.
Well,
they can hire me.
Yeah,
for right now, there's player sites and player pages out there that are more accurate than that. Right now, we're giving them wrong information. Then take the fucking page down. That's my answer.
Either constantly updated or take it down.
We're gonna see the ship stats updated the second we see Galactopedia.
Yeah.
How is item system 2.0 though feeding data? That's what I want to know.
So here's the big thing: is that
sorry, Darsh, but item system 2.0 is the interaction between all of these pieces.
It's more than
saying that this cooler does this.
Yeah,
it's more of a fitting system. They know about the cooler.
Here's the problem, though, is that you also need to know how much power does this power plant generate? How much power does this? It's
base stats, though. It's base stats, because all those other components should manipulate that if you upgrade cooler. We don't need all that on the stats page. Base stats and then you can change them based on the stuff, and then they'll tweak those levels whatever they want.
Well, yeah,
we
but
go-
you need to have a first iteration of a ship using the 2.0 system that you have a power system, a power supply, and an engine and coolers and everything before you set up the initial new
I hate to say
know
this,
what-
but
I would
look
hope
at
they know what those target numbers are by now. What they want the initial. They might change it, but I would hope they'd at least have a ballpark of like, when we start out, guys, we're going to start with this.
we will see. We will see. I
I don't
honestly
think
don't
that's what
think so.
Item
God
System 2.0
sakes.
does.
Yeah.
I think they already have those numbers. I think Item System 2.0 is simply the interaction between all of these objects and a re-envisioning of doing that compared to how it does it today. Today, it's not very modular. Today, it's not
Well,
very
tell
dynamic,
Joe,
allowing
Joe,
all
come-
these different things
here,
to
Come
happen.
by this game.
Yeah.
Don't right now, my friends. I literally talked to my buddy Joe the other day. I'm like, hey, come check out Star Citizen, blah blah blah. And he goes to the website. He's
Hey,
like,
you know, Joe?
well, does this hold this? Does this hold this? Like, how many people are on this? I'm like, oh yeah, ignore that whole fucking webpage. I'm like, I'm telling
Yeah.
them to ignore the official site information, and then I'll tell you like more where we're at with everything by hand.
The big difference,
So-
the big difference between, say, what we see with, make sure I, all right, there we go. The big difference between what we see with what we have now and with item 2.0 issues is that you're dealing with specifically the actual nuts and bolts of the system. At full power, the Badger will use this amount of power. At full power, this cooler system will use this amount of power, and at full output, this power plant will generate this amount of power. So that way, when you're looking at a ship stats page, you see at the very basic concept of when the ship comes out, what you can run and how well you can run it, because power and heat will be a thing with Item 2.0. We know that they have to manage both power and heat sources, because that's a very typical thing that you have to deal with in almost every single space game out there. And that is the key is people will want to know those basic numbers. But I agree with you, Patachi. If you can't update it, just take it down. There's no
Take it
point
down.
in having
That's what
it.
they did with the tutorial, right?
Yeah.
Upon the community's suggestion,
Yeah.
the shit's broke. It's not right. People aren't enjoying
It's
it.
confusing.
It's not helping anybody.
Yeah.
Take it down.
If it's confusing,
and they've been very lax with that, and it's actually caused problems. Like I've had people come into my stream and argue with me about like I'll say one thing and they're like, "Oh, that's not correct. It says this on the website." I'm like, "Yeah, but the website's not correct." They're like, "Are you saying you're more of an authority than the
official
exactly.
website?"
I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, actually.
And they look at
Yes,
you like
actually.
you're an idiot on your stream. You're like, well, really, trust me. I know I didn't say CIG here or anything, but the website's not right. Well, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I'm like,
Well,
Yeah,
it's
it
actually
is.
the case because the website's wrong.
sorry.
So the next question comes from the internet, who asks, "Did you just recommend everyone eat Five Guys?" No. I recommend that you take Five Guys and put them in your mouth. Put Five Guys in your mouth, because Five Guys is you never have lived until you've taken Five Guys in
a
your
bunch
mouth.
of different
Until you
kinds. You
tasted
swap
Five
them out.
Guys,
You have
yes.
a bunch of different types.
Yeah.
They go to Five Guys. They have a whole bunch of different sizes you can get,
Mhm.
and so you have to get like a whole bunch of different sizes of guys.
What about
and
colors?
in your mouth?
That too. Yeah. That
Yeah.
too.
Mm, yes,
Yep.
of course.
Different sauces.
Next. Next question comes from Dregwalla, who asks Dregwalla_, who asks, "Does the incremental patcher have a whole team, or just one guy in the corner of the basement, forgotten in the cobweb cover?"
It's Texas.
It's Texas. Yeah. No, it's
Are you saying that I'm in the basement with cobwebs? You caught
working
me.
working on the Delta patcher. Yeah. No, actually, we know that it's actually had some progression. It's in testing. It's in QA.
Mm.
So
No, I think it is one guy,
Internal
though, isn't
QA,
it?
yeah.
no,
If I'm not mistaken, well, it's
It's-
like 1 to 2 or
it's-
so, right?
it's Frankfurt.
Small team.
yeah, no, they've done with it. The incremental patcher's done. It's
Well,
getting tested.
Done.
It's been built.
Well,
it's just
yeah,
now to get
yeah.
tested and bugged.
The core work is done, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's both Frankfurt and Turbulent who are working on it.
You know, I think one thing that a lot of people would be surprised to hear is how few people actually do code for the game.
Mhm.
Like the majority of CIG staff are not actual programmers. They're usually artists and producers and QA and this and that, especially on like the DevOps sort of, side, like doing an incremental patcher. They don't have just teams of 30 programmers working on these things, it's usually going to be 1 to 2, maybe 3 people doing something like that.
Yeah, they're still constantly hiring engineers all the time. Looking for
Yeah.
Yep.
And usually your engineers are not your largest staff.
And
at least in
Texas
the
would
game.
know. He actually works as a CTO. So
I do run a software company. We
Yeah.
do development, and the majority is not engineers.
Yeah, guess what? It's artists. It's what it is. It's a nightmare.
And-
like
And QA.
I work,
QA.
and
I work
Papa
for-
Dovak works for a game company.
Here's
so.
the difference. You work for a hopefully well-do company. I work for a small indie company. So, like, we have 25 people, right? Like 16 of those are artists. And do you know do you know who QA is? Literally everyone.
Yeah, there you go.
Everyone is the QA team.
Yeah. Because artists, that shit takes time. It takes a lot of time, and you have a lot of art requirements. You have a lot of
If you look on
ships,
Steam
a lot of
and you see,
assets, a lot of
like,
stations.
If you actually go look at like Battlegrounds, Battlegrounds actually is mostly built with pre-made like asset packs. Like they have bought off like an asset store for
Like the Unity
Unreal
store. Or
It's
something.
Unreal, Unreal has its own
Mm.
version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same equivalent. And if you look at the guns, all those guns are from like an asset pack, and they've made one or a few little tweaks and like a few decals and put some wear and tear on stuff. But like 90% of that game, artists didn't make. You want to know why? Because you would be playing that in 3 years if they had. This shit takes so much fucking time.
It reminds me.
Asset flip. Are you saying
Yeah,
Battlegrounds is an asset flip?
Also, look who made it. Bluehole. They're a Korean company. They're the ones that made Terra Online. So those guys work fast too. You got to take that into account. Koreans work fast.
Same.
The thing is, it's not like an asset flip. Like, asset flip is used in, like a derogatory way because there's a whole bunch of games on Steam where like they'll build one game and then they'll make the sci-fi version of it because they just bought like $5,000 worth of assets, remade the game real fast, and then we're do the fancy version and shit. It's all garbage, and they're just trying to make a quick buck, right?
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I made my own
using
Unity
those
video
pre-made
game.
using those pre-made assets really do help along development because, like, if you're just gonna pay $50 and get that rock that you're gonna just put there in that corner, it's way better than spending 50 man hours on that rock.
Yeah,
in that
because 50 man hours is $30-$40 an hour for 50 hours, so it becomes down to that kind of stuff.
Me being an engineering and design on the oil and gas, I wish I had a bunch of packs that I could put together.
Pre-packs pipes, like instead of having to like instead of actually having to manufacture the pipe sizing and everything perfectly.
Yeah, we're always doing constantly doing calculations and like I sat through 2 weeks of doing a PHA review, and I know a lot of people don't know what that is, but basically it's where we go through our fractionator one and try and conceive everything to blow the thing up. And then when we do that, we find out, okay, we got our fail-safe valves, this and that, and it's just a headache and a half because you're going through it and making sure everything works because, the government's going to be reviewing it. If they find one little thing, you get fined $100,000 up your butt, and then you got the big man coming down saying, what the hell did y'all do wrong?
All right. I know it's stressful, but you do realize that your job is to think of ways to blow up your own pipeline.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That's just one of the reviews. I'm just sitting there designing a lot of the stuff that.
Yeah.
Have you tried clogging it with your massive balls?
What happened is when I was a kid, I watched some documentary about how when I was growing up about how people would do. There was a company that did security audits on companies and banks and stuff, and literally their job was, we're gonna go rob the fucking bank.
Yeah.
not for realsies, but we're gonna go take some fucking power tools and we're gonna try to get into the fucking vault at midnight.
Yeah.
And that's what their job is.
I want that job.
We're gonna get into this
I get to keep the
building.
money.
And literally our job is
illegal.
we're security
That's
officer. I'm like, that is the best fucking job in the world, and you got the boring version of that.
That's the next next CIG next Star Citizen career is to the anti-piracy specialist, where your job is just to ambush cargo ships and see how many ways you can ambush them for security audit reasons. Yeah, totally.
That would work.
I
You
provide
have, like,
my
you have like
services.
I had like the idealized version of that, where it's like, oh my god, you're getting paid to essentially be a fucking modern day pirate. Right?
Yeah.
As a kid, I was like, hell yes. You
I
have
found
the
my niche
real
in game
version
now.
of that job.
Yeah.
It's just like I gotta do a bunch of math.
I'm for hire now in Star Citizen. I will attack your convoy and tell you the weaknesses.
Yeah.
There you go.
My payment
Ah.
is getting to keep everything I take from your convoy. But
I was
still,
gonna say,
I'll tell
yeah, I
you
was
the
gonna say that,
weaknesses.
yeah. Before or after you keep all the cargo.
I get to keep it. That's the upside of the job.
All right. Next question comes from Sovan Harvey, who asks, just for fun, would you all speculate on whether or not players will eventually be able to build their own metropolis somewhere in the PU? Maybe.
I think just a smaller, like
14 years down the road, you know?
Yeah.
Because you said Metropolis? No.
Nah, I think it's just gonna be little stations and stuff like that, like
Yep.
they've shown us. Just
I-
little modular.
we might
places.
have something like Star Wars Galaxies, you know, where they had those little towns you could
I-
build, you know?
Yeah, but I still say it's going to be very modular and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I hope that we'll be able to capture stations and stuff in space at some point for our orgs
Well,
and do those things and provide services down the road. But it'll be more of a static thing that you capture and possess.
if-
Stuff.
Yeah, if you want to build your own cities now a little bit earlier, play Dual Universe when it comes out.
Yeah, that's actually
That's
very
all
good.
I know.
Dual Universe is like
Here's-
Star
the idea
Citizen
is
and
like-
Life
is
is
like
Feudal had a
Metropolis,
baby.
no.
That's
Yeah, yeah, but
Shantytown,
yeah.
maybe.
but yeah, Paul is
Darth
exactly
Vader's
right.
sandwich
It's,
shop.
it's like it's like Life is Feudal and Star Citizen kind of muddled together. But and it's even just like Space Engineers where you just can build and put things together and have your own cities and stuff. But Star Citizen, I think, will, as rich as their content is, I think it'd just be narrowing down to, okay, you can build your small little base, little landing pad, and
A little
you know,
settlement
have your
maybe.
little claim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
next,
if they were going to go down that path, that's something that they would need a lot of resources, because that's something you need to do right.
I heard
So-
they were going voxel based.
For what?
They did actually talk about voxel-based asteroids for a long time, so I don't know.
I know. I'm just joking.
Yeah,
Let's get off that train.
Yeah,
Uh,
voxel-based
I stopped.
outposts, no.
Next question comes from Pavel Dovak. Why are Crystal Burgers so good? And if you don't know what they are, you're a heathen. Crystal Burgers are simply literally the
White.
redneck. They're the redneck version of White Castle. Super redneck version of White Castle.
You know it's redneck. You know, because if your burgers sound like a stripper.
Crystal. It's K-Y.
Ah.
It's
I've met
K-Y-S-T-R-A-L.
Crystal before.
Yeah.
She's a
Crystal.
very nice lady.
Yeah.
The good on the fat.
That-
Basically,
she
they're
says
basically
hello.
just like bread, meat, and grease.
Yep.
But like, if you are,
It's like a
shitty.
shitty version of White Castle. Is what it is.
You mean a better version of White Castle?
No, it's a shitty version of Chateau Blanc.
Fuck you.
I've had Crystal. I lived in Tennessee. Fight me.
It's good, man. It's good.
Next question comes from Mudfucka, who asks, "What do you think the multiplayer is? What do you think the multiplier is in the new stats page?"
What?
I have no idea.
What?
That doesn't make any
I
sense.
don't know
Yes.
either.
Now,
I don't think anybody knows.
Texas asks.
Caffeine.
All right,
Caffeine
I guess I have to read. It's asking me to read this out. I, Paul Shelley, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of citizen of the state of Texas, and will, to my best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Texas Constitution, and the laws of the United States of Texas, and of the state. So help me. Insert brackets. It just says brackets. And then Texas.
Now, right? Like,
Yeah,
like
it's how this works,
gun
right?
now,
And then there's a link to a YouTube video which I
Paul
can't click.
Shelley, here is your gun. You now get. This is your
Now,
shotgun.
please go shoot a wild
Yes.
hog. Seriously, we have a problem.
All right, I shamelessly submitted that.
Yeah.
You read that. So go figure. Obviously,
Yes,
duh.
Mad Mike 1988 asks, "Do you think permadeath will be toxic for the actual gameplay? For example, in other games I played with similar mechanics, battles only happen between very unequal forces and are usually fought until the opposing force guild disband or the players themselves quit or to prevent possible retaliation. I know the UE will be in place to prevent extremes, but I personally thought of getting killed a few times. The thought of going few times, having to pay funerals, etc., and then the money to just cover these costs over players might cause me to be very questionable. Seem very questionable, given how players usually behave in an MMO. To a
I don't
degree,
think CIG is going to make it that tough.
Just talk about
Like-
funeral costs.
Well, I don't think CIG is going to make it that crazy where, like, if you die, holy shit, the world is over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say
It'll
if
hurt,
you have
but not kill you.
if you have problems,
You lose
if
what's in your inventory on your person at that given time.
If you're worried about permadeath and somebody keeps bothering you or zerging you like that, all you have to do is say, "Hey, test squadron, I need your help."
yeah,
Boom.
you hire somebody. Hire somebody.
There's a reason. There's a reason when you went when you don't walk around with your entire life savings in your wallet at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason you don't do that, and there's a reason you shouldn't do that in Star Citizen either.
Mm-hmm. And I think to a degree, large org battles where you have people who will be trying to do their best to destroy each other systematically, it may happen, but it will only happen if it rewards the players, because there's no territory acquisition in this game. It's not like you can go in and fight a battle to claim a piece of territory like you can in, say, EVE, where you can claim an entire star system. That doesn't happen in Star Citizen. It's much smaller. It's much
We
micro scale.
don't know that.
We don't know.
We don't know that, but at the same time, they haven't. They literally have said that
about this last night.
They literally
talked a lot about this here.
they literally haven't said that they
Even
would
if
be
they
able
don't
to.
do territory, because I would agree with you, Paul, I don't think they'll do a territory thing, because technically the territory is owned by the Vandal, the UEE, and all this stuff. You're not going to seize power from the overall NPCs that operate 90% of the game. But you might control truck stops, space stations in certain areas and regions where it's more lawless. That I could see, and I would think orgs would fight over that, because you're going to get not only the income from other players, but NPCs that traffic through there, and that gives you a purpose to protect your assets and then kind of compete over them.
But those are small comparatively, and if someone loses,
but that's all there is to fight over. If
someone,
but if that's all there is to fight over, it is 100%. It's not
It's
small.
something to fight over. Yeah. What I saw in EVE, and this is like the end-all be-all truth for EVE Online, is that people would either never get in a fight if they could avoid it, if they know that they're going to lose. In other words, people are always trying to form the superior counter force to this, or they will fight if they know that they have to fight over something that they can lose, like a territory or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's always all about trying to trick someone or trap someone into an engagement. So if
the art of
find the
war.
right balance, exactly. But if they can find the right balance to where, yes, you lose something, it hurts to lose, but it's not crippling, like, fuck, your game's over.
There's no
you
way
may
you
as
can
well just
recover
quit.
from it. That's not fun.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Exactly. So if they strike the right balance, then you'll see something similar to EVE Online, where people aren't just going to willy-nilly take a fucking engagement for the hell of it, even though they know they're going to lose. They're going to be smart about it.
Yeah.
So it's on you to find and trap someone, get them into an engagement that's not ideal for them, right? And I think that's awesome gameplay right there.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that the answer, the honest gut answer about the whole, like, only if they had overwhelming forces, that's life. Like, you don't have fair fights in life, and you're never going to have a fair fight in MMO or any game. Like, if I'm going into a battle, I want to make sure I have the biggest motherfuckers with the biggest goddamn guns on my side, because then I win. Like, that's the answer.
Language.
Yeah. If it's WoW and 10% durability loss and you pay an insignificant amount of money to repair your shit, then, like, who cares, right?
cares?
Everyone's gonna take every battle all the time. They need to get away from that, but they also can't go to the opposite end of where, again, literally your game career is over because you lost one fight.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's a
Your
good balance.
character is deleted in your game and installs itself.
Yeah.
And like we're talking about, like, like punishments and stuff. Like, World of Warcraft, you have, like, corpse runs. Fucking, how about a fucking universe run, motherfucker? Like, holy shit, you die. It's not just what you lose. It's like, I was in the middle of shit, dude. It's gonna take me like an hour to get back there. God, fuck, I'm on the other side of
the punishment.
Never local.
Yeah, but the punishment, the real punishment from dying in Star Citizen is that the universe is so big that if you die, in order to get back to where you were, it's going to cost you a lot of time and effort to do so. And by that time, the dude who killed you got the fuck away, or he's got buddies.
Or it's like shit. And
He had
also,
time to
also,
bring
I
in
was in
his
I was in my fast ship.
reclaimer.
Yeah.
I was
He's
in my
cleaned up
fast
the
ship.
whole area.
So it's
Everything's
like,
done.
my
He's
fast
sold your
ship is on
salvage. He's
cooldown.
gone.
Yeah.
Because insurance isn't going to replace my fast ship for another 20 hours.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm in this other ship, and so it's going to take me even longer to get over there because it's like it's
Yep.
a medium cargo hauler. So
Yeah.
like what?
It definitely is going to hurt.
But maybe
You're not going to lose
Or
everything, but it's going to hurt. Like a bitch.
maybe like you got stuck in a planet or a system that only has medium or large jump points going
Yeah.
to it, or just a small jump points going to it, and all you're left with are medium and large ships. How are you going to get there?
Exactly.
Hey, Sherman wants link permission.
I got him.
Cool.
Boom.
Yeah,
Just-
I mean,
just-
like maybe you take a minor reputation hit or something. You're known as well. You can't always get the job done.
Really, that's
the
all.
time.
The only thing
You die.
that so far we know that they're playing with to take away from a player upon death is reputation and your time. That's really it. I mean, you'll lose some assets, personal assets and stuff like that, but I'm sure they'll balance that out to where, you run a mission or two, you get most of your personal assets back.
Yeah.
And unless you're risking a huge cargo load doing a mulligan into somewhere and doing something really dumb, you probably won't lose a ton of shit.
Yeah.
If you do
But
that,
everything
that's
needs
your
a
own
money
fault
sink
for
too,
that.
though.
Well, I understand. If you make a dumb
you need a money
decision, just
sink.
like in Eve, if somebody jumps a Titan into a low sec system, they need to lose it. That's the same thing that needs to happen like in this. If I load up my whole E with the most expensive shit and drive it out to a pirate area, I should lose it. It shouldn't be like, oh, it's okay, Mitachi, we'll give you all your shit back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Insurance
that's
shouldn't cover everything.
But you don't want to
or it should
grief
be
people
super
that are in the
expensive.
game just trying to play the game.
You have to have loss, or you're also going to have a lot of inflation. Because hey, you're getting back the full value of your ship plus cargo plus whatever.
Yeah.
Like then after like a couple 100 hours of gameplay and people stealing shit, you're essentially like duping items over and over and over again into the economy, and shit, nothing's worth anything anymore.
Yeah.
It's
We
bad.
shall
So,
see.
we shall see.
Don't steal my stuff.
All right. Next question comes from CVH Maverick Aurora Rework ETA. No idea. Soon. TM. Probably
Yes.
within 3.1 or 3.2 or something like that. It looks pretty close.
Yep.
Next question comes
It's
from Chubby.
close, yeah.
Next question comes from Chubby Defender. Parachutes for ejecting Atmo? Yes or no? Not in 3.0.
They've already
Jetpacks.
they said like no repeatedly to this.
They'll be no. They said they will.
But not in
Not in
3.0.
3.0.
Just not in 3.0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Just-
think they're coming.
So you ejected atmosphere, you die.
No, implement freaking Iron Man boots and hands, man. That's all I want.
Yeah. Well, you already have a jetpack.
All right.
Mad Mike 1988 asks, during an interview regarding the back then new size of the Idris, one of the devs mentioned an internal wiki. Wouldn't it be easy to pull numbers off there and use them for our hilariously outdated stats page? No, because those are probably
That's always changing.
That's probably already out of date, honestly.
Yeah.
They have the numbers of where everything currently is.
Yeah, but it changes so
this-
frequently. That's the issue. But
I
yeah,
understand, but it would still be more up to date than what we have on the website.
true.
Yeah.
So shit's
Yeah.
gonna change. Just put a big TD on the top.
The website says
change.
shit that doesn't even exist anymore. It's like
That's what I'm saying.
Let's talk about top
It is-
cruise speed.
It
It's
is
like, what
hard
the
to
fuck is
ask
cruise
people to
speed?
come to your website and pledge for a game when all the information I have, for the most part, is wrong all over what I may or may not be purchasing. So,
Spaceship
I
train
don't want to go
wheels.
buy some bananas and get oranges delivered. I'd rather, know kind of what I'm getting.
Spaceship Training Wheels asks, anybody see the Reddit post that turned 3.0 release date and features into a series of D20 dice rolls? Apparently the guy
I
wrote a
did,
book on
yes.
agile software development. Now, so that guy actually, he didn't just, the dice rolls was a joke of him trying to get into the idea. The idea that he said was and his point was CIG is doing it the opposite way that he would do it. And as we know, apparently he wrote, according to this question, he wrote a book on agile software development, which is what CIG uses. And his suggestion was CIG goes for fine and then expands out, meaning they have a specific date, and then as they miss it, they kind of expand and then come back to the actual specific date. His suggestion would be start with a broad open window, like between June and August, we know that this is generally what we're going to be shooting for. And then as you get closer to the date, you can start narrowing the date to be a specific date. So instead of pissing people off by saying it's coming out on June 29th, and then people are like, wait, it's now delayed to August? What? Why is it delayed to August? You go, it's coming out sometime in late June to August, and then as you get closer, you start narrowing the date down to being more exactly what it's supposed to be.
I took the exact opposite meaning from, I think, his statement. I think he said that they're too generous sometimes on their timelines, giving too much leeway. This is my takeaway, that sometimes they give too much leeway, which leads to that student syndrome, which essentially says, oh, well, you've got all this extra time, so take it. Whereas the actual people that are developing and creating the art and the assets and whatnot don't feel too rushed because their timelines are already too lenient. The way that I took that post was him basically saying, come out with more aggressive beginning timelines. Sure, have that window, right? But that first date of your window, make it more aggressive. That was my takeaway from that.
Maybe
post,
internally.
honestly.
I think that maybe internally, but I think he was saying externally. People just don't understand that.
I think it's also something we always have to consider when we talk about timelines or which type of project manager structure you're using. Because as a former project manager, this is totally different when you deal with artist and creation and invention. Because this is really a massive R&D project.
Yeah.
Most systems, you can't develop a static thing saying it takes 9 days to do this. And they've gotten better with the art side, with all the art panels and the different types of palettes they have for the ships. So they kind of got that automatic after years of development. But when they're talking about everything from netcode to everything else that they need implemented for certain things, they're still trying to trace down the best method to use it. They're still building engines. They're obviously still building tools to build the things of the universe. So there's so much extra R&D that goes into this. It's so hard to ballpark it, like when something's going to happen. So it's more like updating the progress of the people inventing the shit as they go along. And that's the way we have to look at it. Because it's, we get still too mind framed about other games and stuff where you have till June to finish this. And they just don't have those limitations because of the quality control.
I think his point was this. I think if you make it known publicly that, hey, it's going to take 2 months to make this, it's not going to take it's not going to take less than 2 months to make it, because your employees essentially know that, our deadline is 2 months, so we can kind of, it's not work slower, not work less on it, but sort of take your time a little bit more. But if you say it's going to take 1 month to make this, but maybe continue into 2 months, that's kind of more of an incentive, like a kick in the ass and a motivational tool saying, let's get this shit done in a month.
I know, but
maybe it flips.
I think what happens is because they have so many different studios working on the same project, so many different departments working out, what happens is, and this is just my guess, I don't have any knowledge of this, is the fact that one group gets done with their piece, right? And they go on working on the next piece. I think this is what happened with the planets and stuff. These guys are idle working on some other tech and other stuff, and they come across this really cool thing they invent. So instead of like, hey, we're done, these guys catch up, now that can go out, that piece can go out. It's like, hey, we're done, we'll work on some cool shit. Hey, okay, we're catching up. Wait, look at this awesome shit they did. Oh, now we got to change everything. Now we both take longer, and it's just this constant ladder formation of going up the chain of like, but this is better. Now they made it better. So nobody gets done at the same time. So it's just constant feature creep up.
It's the same thing as what you were talking about, what can go in the ship. If it can fit, it can work. And I bet you someone along the line saying, hey, guys, I fixed it. And then, now we got to go back and redo it, make sure it works.
Constantly.
Like R&D, constant R&D.
Constant R&D, and it's like, oh my God, now we figured out how to dock 2 ships together. Let's do this now. And it's like,
don't even mention that. After all the backpedaling they did about docking, and then all of a sudden somebody fixes it.
It happens. What happens.
It does.
I mean, we weren't even going to go down to planets like we are now. And then if somebody's like, hey,
one dude or a team of dudes did it, and like,
That's the problem and the blessing of this type of project with the research and development. You get awesome shit, but shit takes longer because you have no idea. People are like, oh, we're just going to do it like this. Oh, no, I found out how to do this. It's like
the biggest case study example of that was the planetary tech.
Yeah.
They didn't expect that to happen, and then all of a sudden, They're
And all
like,
of a sudden
hey
it's
guys,
done,
we
yeah.
figured this out. We cracked this nut. And then they're like,
And it's
okay,
awesome and we
everything
love it.
changes.
So the whole
Yeah.
project, guaranteed, that pushed out the entire project at least a year, if
I-
not two.
absolutely.
I will
that's right
say
there.
I will say that the planetary landing, my guess is that it delayed Squadron 42 a year, if not almost
At
two,
least.
at least, and Star Citizen 2 to 3 years
Yes.
of the delay because you have to get
Here's the
everything done to
question.
catch up.
Here's the question. Ignoring how they should have told us about the delays, is anybody salty that they're actually getting planetary landings?
No, not at all. I mean, the issue is was again I think the biggest issue for everyone. I think Papa Dovak and I have beat this issue to death so many times. Is just communication. If you tell us
Exactly, but I said
and you talk to
ignoring
us,
that.
whatever. Ignoring
Can't
that, I'm
ignore
not. No
that,
one's
though.
no
It's-
one's
it's-
yeah.
No one's mad at anything. Also,
Yeah.
I have several questionable issues with some of the current ships and how they're fucked up they are. Other than that,
I think probably
Great.
Dovak's getting
fucking
drunk.
Vanguard. What the fuck, CIG? What the fuck? Okay, never mind. moving on.
All right.
I like the
I think
Vanguard.
Papa Dovak's getting
Vanguard.
drunk.
Next question comes from Twitch handle Pioneer. Have you seen the leaked Ubisoft E3 game trailer that was in Watch Dogs 2? I was trying to talk about that earlier. Yeah, there's actually Ubisoft possibly is creating a space game which has a very Cowboy Bebop feel. Called
Their whole
called,
like yeah
called Pioneer.
They're like their spear about
Spiel.
I am fucking drunk. Holy
We'll
shit.
say it for you, my
Yeah.
friend.
Their spiel about that when that happened was like oh yeah, this is something we were working on. We put it in as a joke. You weren't supposed to find that, and we took it out. We batched it out, and it was like very much like someone put this in here and
As
it
an
wasn't
ARG?
supposed to be in here.
Oh, really?
No, I think like what I gathered from that was then they really tried to play it off as if like this doesn't lead to something else. It's just like this is nothing. Don't you didn't see that? You didn't know what's on us. You didn't see it. You really were like some fucking engineer is getting fucking fired tomorrow
Yeah.
because it's not supposed to be in here.
Hmm.
It was like wasn't there some game on the Xbox One that had like a fucking full episode of South Park on it for some reason?
Yeah.
Like back in the day, it was like that shit. It was like this is not supposed to be in here. This got merged poorly for some reason. This is a mistake.
So there is legitimate
Heads are gonna roll.
rumors that was supposed to be released or is going to be released sometime this E3, which I wouldn't doubt. You know, with the space and science fiction kind of hype train that has been slowly been taking off for the last couple of years. So I'm excited to see if it actually does or not. I don't necessarily think 100% it will come out.
I
but-
hope to God this is like the E3 of space MMOs.
space
or something.
MMOs,
Just
yeah.
fuck it. Whatever.
It would confuse everybody, and everyone would be like, "Okay, now we have to figure out what a space MMO is." You
It'll
know,
just be us.
yeah,
It's good for all of us.
it's all of
Right
us,
here.
and all the regular consumers would just be like, "What is this?" Okay, I guess we have to play these space MMOs. And everyone, the rest of us, are just like, "Yes, finally,
If
our
only
time
there
has
was
come."
A weekly podcast with 6 semi-known community members to discuss the weekly ongoings of the space MMO community.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Commander Hellfire asks.
I'm just bad. I'm fucking drunk right now.
Well, the reason why
It's all good.
the reason why it's important to bring it up as well is because more games means more attention to space, which means more possible fans for Star Citizen, but it also means
Space.
competition,
What
and
is
competition
it?
is not a bad idea.
It's all around us, but no one knows what it is.
So Commander Hellfire asks,
Space.
are Texas Skulls and Astropub going to be the first ones to play PUBG in one of Star Citizen's moons, 100 citizens in a caterpillar, and jump out and
This
float
is-
down on everyone for themselves?
It's my thing.
Oh,
It's my thing.
okay.
I
Okay.
train people. You pick 2 people up. You take them on a ride. Hey, buddy, let me show you the game. You drop them off. You give them a gun. Like you motherfuckers fight you to death. Last one standing,
Okay.
get the ride home.
Okay, tomorrow, Mara and I are recording a podcast of Fortnite Frontier, and because we don't have a topic, because Item 2.0 has been talked to death on our podcast, we're actually just gonna, each of us are gonna pitch a game mode for either Arena Commander or Star Marine, and mine is gonna be like a version of a battle royale. I'm not gonna say much, but
I
yeah,
pitched-
I've been thinking about this for weeks.
I've-
Every
I'm
little.
If it's anything like
intricacy of
I
it.
pitched an idea like this a month ago when PUBG first came out. The idea
Yeah.
I had was basically PUBG but 0G, and instead of having a collapsing gas, you just have oxygen, and you have a station which you can go to the station, and the oxygen in the station gets let out.
My idea is slightly different, but it's basically it is a battle royale, and only one person comes out victorious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, like battle royale games, I'd love to see a battle royale game in Star Citizen. I don't think we'll see it, but I'd love to see it.
Yeah, because whatever the Star Citizen's FPS mechanic is evolving to is going to lend very well to a battle royale. Yeah, just one winner, one life per person. You know.
Can you
just-
fucking imagine the FPS if you had like 100 ships in like a small,
No,
in,
you
like,
wouldn't.
an
You wouldn't.
Allosaur
You
size
wouldn't use.
area?
You wouldn't use those ships though. You'd use FPS.
I know. I'm just saying, like, if you had like 100 fucking players, just
Yeah.
like.
Well, who knows? That's the goal.
I hope it gets really smooth one day.
Yeah.
Right now, it would
Yeah.
it would be less. It'd be negative frames. It'd be borrowing mine.
All right. So
but even Battlegrounds has issues with the frame rates in the lobby, and
That's why they
because-
have the lobby to sync everything up before they initiate the game, though. I assume.
I've
Seems like that's
actually
the purpose of it.
I've never had significant FPS issues with Battlegrounds.
sound issues.
I've
though.
had some weird occasional. I've had sound issues, but I've had the occasional desync issue.
Desync,
Like, but I've never really. I've never had massive issues with
Yeah.
that game technically.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
But I
It's
got a
pretty
Titan
smooth.
XP, so I guess it's Titan XP.
Yeah,
Right
I have a 1080 Ti at the same time, so I'm. Oh,
That
fine,
guy
you
has two of
guys.
those.
One's fine.
and here we have Texas looking at what these peasants have only one Titan XP. What?
Oh, shut up, Darjanator. I'll come to Europe right now, Sir Europe with a E, and I will fight you.
It's
All right.
Duke.
I
Next-
have a single 1080. Yeah.
Next-
How about hold on.
the next
all you
couple
need,
of
man.
the next couple of questions are all a lot of them are covering stuff we've already covered. For Smart Ferrari asks, when will we answer the call in 2017? Why is it so hard to get a realistic date without having to refactor everything 12 times over? We've kind of covered that a couple times, so I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that horse is dead.
That horse
Yeah.
has been dead. We beat it into glue.
Watch this stream after the stream's over
Well,
to
no,
rechat.
to be fair, I am going to be doing a vodcast, so I'm going to be doing vodcasts after this stream, sometime later tonight, and then tomorrow morning. That way, because one of the things that I've had people say is that they really like to watch the stream, but they can't watch it live because of X, Y, or Z, and otherwise they can't watch it. They'll have to watch it on my uploads. And if I have an issue like with my moving where I can't really reliably do uploads, it becomes like people can't watch it for weeks. However, with a vodcast, like it's just like a normal stream. So
I've
I'm
been
planning
doing
on
it with the
doing that
Space Pro
this and
show.
stuff.
And I'll tell you right now, the funniest thing is when I check on my phone, like I'm watching on my phone remote
Yeah.
while I'm doing other stuff, and everybody thinks you're live.
You're
the whole
live.
time.
Yeah,
They get
everyone
really
thinks you're
mad
live.
for ignoring them the whole
Yeah.
time. They're like,
Yeah,
"You're
but
live,
anyway,
aren't you?"
anyway, this topic this horse is so dead it's been turned into crystal burgers.
Yes, we've turned them into
Wow.
crystal burgers.
Wow. We're actually making
Uh,
sliders
You know
tonight.
what?
In fact, actually, there's
Let's do
sliders
this
that
before.
are ready
I'm mailing
right
you
now.
some crystal burgers, and I'm not.
All right, let's knock this out because there's only a couple more questions left. A few of you stated early last year that you felt Squadron 42 would need to be out by early 2017, i.e., now or earlier. And before 3.0 schedule was released, you publicly shown your frustration with QTH's communication. Now you think Squadron 40. When do you now? We already talked about that. Do you have a time limit? No, no time limit. Not really.
When it's finished, just please when it's finished.
Yeah, but soon, hopefully. Please
Yes,
don't
yeah.
please don't drag the shit out. The other question is from
What schedule?
Mudfucka, who asks, what will your next of kin be named when your initial character dies for good? I have no idea.
Dolmec 2.
Mitachi too.
Mitachi too.
Pretty basic.
I'm actually going to go through and actually make a good solid background information, like an actual character bio
Yeah.
for each of my characters, because I want to
Yeah.
give a shit about them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not necessarily going to RP, but you know.
Well,
Yeah.
I care about mine, but if you come in one day and I'm Matachi 23, you know I had a really bad day.
God damn.
Well, also, Paul, I like your idea about being thorough about
I
your
like
character
it.
because also they've said if you've done something significant in Star Citizen, eventually you're going to be added to the
Yeah.
lore, the Wikipedia
Yeah,
lore. So
when Matachi 45 finds that jump hole, it'll be put into Matachi 45, and everyone's like,
Matachi 45, and
fuck?
then as Matachi 101, I'll be like,
420.
oh, I
Yeah.
remember my
It's the
great
legendary
grandpappy.
explorer.
Yeah. My great grandpappy
Over
Matachi 45, I
9,000.
remember him well.
The next question comes from the Knight Rider. Question for the quests: What will the next ship be? What will the next ship to get nerfed? The Super Hornet.
Saber.
Probably.
Yeah, the Super Hornet needs to get
Saber.
the Super Hornet's
Buccaneer
been
will get nerfed
Hornet.
next.
The Super Hornet is the
They'll
ship
never ever
God
nerf
tier.
the Super Hornet because it's Chris's baby.
Mhm.
It's always gonna be the
it
OP
needs
ship.
it needs
I
to
don't care
get
what they put in there,
it
they
needs
won't
to
do
get hit with a nerf bat. It's the next ship.
It
that needs to
does.
get hit
It's
with a
like
nerf bat.
weirdly glitchy too, because it's like invincible.
Doesn't matter. It's
And then
Chris
it
Roberts,
like
baby.
instantly explodes out of nowhere for something.
The
It's weird.
Super Hornet will never get nerfed. Mark my words. They'll nerf everything around it. They'll come out with the greatest spaceships of all
He's
time.
not
But the
wrong.
Super Hornet will always be the best goddamn ship to fly, even though it's
He's not
uglier,
wrong.
flies like a brick shit house. It'll
Fuck
always
you,
be
man.
tankier and have more
Fuck you,
damage
man.
than everything else.
This is
So,
some- this is some
it's because it's Chris
bullshit.
Roberts' baby. I'm telling you, it's
It
the
is.
way it is. I wish it wasn't that way. I wish he'd fall in love with a different ship, but the Super Hornet will always be the best
Well,
ship in the game.
Connie.
This is other one.
And the
Yeah.
best fighter in the game will always be Super Hornet. Super Hornets
Okay,
can kill
yeah.
Connies quite often.
All right.
That's true.
So
They can't-
anonymous.
I'm just talking about Chris Roberts' love.
Last
That's
question
true.
of the night. Anonymous asks, "Can you lower
Apart from Sandy.
Dargender's mic? I can still hear him." Kappa.
I wish we could lower it all the way. Wow.
Oh.
That
That was a dig.
That was asked by whom?
Ow!
Oh God! All
Sorry
righty.
about that.
Well, we only went over to 3 hours this time instead of a 4-hour Stars at Captain's Table, which is nice.
Easy.
Thank you guys all so
I got
much for
time to
hanging out
stream
here.
after.
I know there was some people who are going to be planning on streaming after, so please do that. Go out and do that.
I'm going to bed, man.
Go
It's
to
3 in the
bed.
morning.
Go to bed. Do what you need to do. Thank you, everyone here.
Say, yeah, rep.
Follow all of these people because they're awesome, and you should be following them in one way, shape, or form.
Hey Paul.
Yeah.
What's going on tomorrow? What's happening tomorrow?
So tomorrow, I'm going to be on Relay's Rift Tracks. I'm sorry, totally serious analysis of E3 coverage with Microsoft and
We're press.
and possibly with I'll bring Texas on. Me and Tex will go watch. We'll watch the Bethesda thing together, drunk as fuck, and then we'll go do drunken Starfleet Academy stuff. So
It's E3, so alcohol is necessary.
necessary.
It's
I
not-
plan on
Definitely.
capturing all the cringe
Oh my
and
God,
ripping on
what has
everybody.
happened in Darth
Dude,
Vader?
the E3 one. The EA conference earlier.
I've gone
was-
into witness protection program.
a YouTube creator.
Hold on,
You
give me a
should do
second.
whole
Sorry, not
cast
going
like
into
that all
here,
the time.
But a
It's great.
YouTube creator walked out on stage to present the game, forgot the name of the game, and
Oh my
it was like
God.
Need for Speed. Looked off screen, paused for like 5 seconds, and said, "Payback," and everyone's like, "Woo!"
There we go.
And then they're like,
Oh, wow.
cut, get off.
Were you talking about
Wow.
a YouTuber on there?
Completely.
No, that's the theme this year. A lot of my
he's a
friends have been doing it
YouTuber
as
guy.
well.
He choked at the whole beginning of that.
Oh,
But that's the
bad.
theme. A
Wow.
lot of the presenters for the games are no longer these corporate the insert gender or color that we need or slick looking dude so that we can present our game. It's now we're going to pull out a content creator from the community to do that now. That's
I'm just
that's
so
the big thing.
I'm just so fucking happy that the Ubisoft meme lady isn't back this year.
Mhm.
Like she's gone. Like she's just off on stage trying to talk to the kids about the dank memes. I'm like, lady, just fucking show me.
No, God.
Okay, which is the first game that's actually gonna incorporate a fidget spinner?
Oh God.
Oh,
Oh,
please,
we're
no,
past
stop.
that, dude.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys all for hanging out here. Follow these people. If you're watching this on the vodcast or watching this on the YouTube, we do this live every Saturday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. GMT. And we're doing it for every Saturday. We may miss a Saturday here and there, but we are going to start doing the podcast more often just because I want to capture as many people as possible who are interested in watching it who may not have a chance to watch it. And like I say every night, hope to see you guys again soon. But if I don't, hope to see you someday in the black. Have a good night, guys.